I'm sure you did.
Hey, welcome to the Epic Radio Show. We have a great show for you guys today. We have Jeffrey Gurian joining us a little later, but first, we're going to talk about an evil wedding for videographer, yet another Corona-pocolypse update, a YouTuber who's under fire over a decision involving her adopted son, and Sega may be joining the console war. We also have crazy news, playing with balls, and much more. Keep it locked right here on the Epic Radio Show. Epic Radio Show. I am your host, Epic, along with Jay's Elbow.
Yeah.
Welcome, Jay's Elbow.
Yeah, welcome, Jay's Elbow. No, it's fine.
Already, and it begins.
I know, it's okay.
It's Sunday, folks.
It's all right. Sunday, Bloody Sunday? Is that
Sunday, Bloody Sunday.
Bloody Elbow Sunday.
Yeah, I guess. Anyways, we have a great show for you guys today. Like I said, we have Jeffrey Gurian. We also got some awesome stuff to share with you through our topics that I'm sure you guys are going to be really upset about, because I know I am.
He's real
but
excited.
Later on, we have crazy news. What's in
crazy news? That's early. I wasn't expecting it so early. So.
I know. I figured I would give
crazy.
people.
I know. I'm kind of shocked. There's a kitten that was born with 2 faces.
Oh, snap.
Yay.
Oh, that's cute.
A sexual fantasy gone wrong. And a man who has a very interesting fetish.
Yeah.
That's all
Actually,
I'm gonna say.
my sexual fantasies have gone wrong.
Well, this one's gone wrong too.
And
Maybe this is about Chris. We don't know.
Oh no, someone's looking in the windows again.
Yeah, and we have Jay and Chris Keller over
Morning,
here.
guys and
What's
gals.
up, guys?
Peace, brothers and
What do we
sisters.
have for crazy news? Or not
Well,
crazy
God
news.
damn it, I already
told you.
I know, damn it.
Stop.
Just open up
I
your
wanted
window,
to
look
see if Jay was paying
outside.
attention. That's what it was.
I mean,
Playing with balls.
not much sports yet still, but no, I was gonna talk about a situation with Colin Kaepernick, and then also a situation with the Cleveland Browns. They're trying to acquire a targeted free agent, and he might not want to come here. So.
Ooh,
Oh.
snap. Okay.
Whale.
And the one
Whale,
that you
whale,
hear in the
whale.
box, even though I didn't tell you earlier when
Even
she
though-
was explaining crazy
Right,
news,
even though you
was
said,
Ashley.
what's going on for crazy news? And I'm
I
like,
know.
well,
I jumped the gun a little
from
bit.
this like voice in the mysterious, like, oh, where's that coming from?
Yeah, yeah.
Me.
Yeah. It's all right.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was
I had to.
some
camera on you,
mystery.
though. No, I had a
Ooh,
camera on you.
Spooky.
Yeah.
You didn't
Just-
introduce me. You just said, "Fucking talk about crazy
Yeah,
news," and then I'll
exactly.
introduce you.
Yep,
Just
yep.
fucking deal with it,
Yeah.
basically.
Well, because I know if I asked later in the show, I feel like I catch you guys even more off guard.
No, I'm expecting it before, like the break before crazy news. I'm
Oh,
expecting
okay.
it then.
I don't
This time
know.
was like
every,
way. I'm
every
like,
time I ask you
whoa.
guys, oh, what's coming up on your segment?
I'm like, I
It's
just
like-
don't remember
Like
sometimes.
deer in headlights every time.
I just don't remember. You should expect that. I just don't
Yeah.
always remember. I'm like, what am I reading? What am I talking about right now? What's even happening? I don't know.
I don't know. Everybody's
I don't
looking
know.
down.
I'm not looking down.
Looking down.
I was for a
Yeah.
second because I was looking at the laptop, but now I'm
Mhm.
not.
What's going on with you, Chris and Jay?
Why you
Nothing
guys
much.
looking down?
For me, well, I was doing something that
I was
shouldn't have been doing, so I'm getting slapped
Oh.
on the hand. You know what's happening with me, man? It's just when you think it doesn't get any worse out there, man. I mean, come on, the friggin' COVID,
Yeah.
and then the riots,
Yeah.
Yep.
and then I wake up this morning with hemorrhoids.
Ah,
Damn.
no.
It fucking sucks, man.
Is that a real thing? Hemorrhoids?
Hemorrhoids are a very real thing. Man.
No, I mean like you having them.
The hemorrhoids are, yeah.
Are they? They're real.
Like, I know they're
Do you really
real.
want to go? Do we want
Are
to
they
probe this
just?
one? Do we
Are
want
they
to
just
go
a
there?
figment of your
Why not?
I mean,
imagination?
do you want me to drop trowel here? Is that what we're
Sure.
doing, huh?
Sure.
Sure.
It's like, sure.
The proctologist segment here.
Right. Let's
today.
just bring out. Yeah.
It's about-
that's
it's
where we're
about-
gonna
That'll
go,
be your
folks.
new segment,
Aren't you,
Chris.
aren't you about
Chris and the proctologist.
Isn't he about at that age?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he's past that age,
Oh,
right?
my
we
God.
had,
What do
we
you
had
mean
this talk
age?
in the
To start
in the
getting his
car,
prostate
but-
checked
Yeah.
Got you.
regularly.
Got you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to
Actually,
say-
they backed off on that.
They have.
Yeah, they pushed the recommended
If-
age to a later age in life. So
If you seen the
You're
league,
safe right now?
if you seen
yeah,
the
I
league,
fall
I'd
into a
ask you
little
if yours was
gray
anything
area
like
where
that.
I don't have to get tested.
Like,
But I
phew.
was at one time in the range where you had to be tested. You know, every other week my doctor was telling me, and
Just-
you know.
Very
so
interesting.
so basically, every time your time came up, they just pushed it back.
They're like, oh well, not
Pretty
Chris.
much, yeah.
Not Chris.
pretty
We don't
funny.
want that.
Yeah.
We don't want to deal with Chris today. Hey, Connor.
Hey,
My
Connor.
mom's also watching, so I said hi to her already, though.
Aw.
But hi. Again.
All right, cool.
Cool, cool.
Cool, cool.
Cool, cool.
Cool, cool, cool.
Are we pushing buttons? Is that what that's all about?
Yeah.
'Cause
Well, I'm just trying to work some
I don't
stuff
see
out
any
real quick.
monitor
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here.
today.
I'm
You
just
said what?
doing nothing.
You didn't see what?
I don't
Oh,
see a
God, what is it?
monitor, so I don't know what's going
He
on.
can't
Oh,
see.
okay.
Usually I
shoot.
can. You kind of got it tweaked today, but
No, I don't think I moved it at all.
Oh,
but
then
It's
whatever.
just a new.
Must
It's a
be
new
me then.
monitor.
Ah,
Yeah.
It's different. So
It's a different one.
it's the
yeah.
upgrade.
Yeah.
You know, I noticed Chris is not Chris. Jay is not wearing the Epic Radio Show shirt today.
Boo.
Yeah, no clue.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Mm.
I wore my last one, and
This is what gets me about Jay.
Damn it,
because
Jay.
I don't do laundry every day, man. So all my
But we
laundry.
He
don't-
has 10.
Jay.
I have
probably-
I have 3.
We only get together
75.
once every 7 days.
Yeah.
You have
I have-
75
I have
shirts.
3. I have 3, and I used one, and I was at your house most of the week, so I didn't think about doing laundry
Why wouldn't you do laundry here?
because I don't know. I didn't.
Because he doesn't
think of it.
know.
You didn't think of
I'm just
dirty
gonna let
laundry
YouTube volley
needing
this one,
cleaned?
all right?
Needing
Enjoy.
I just thought I'm gonna wear whatever the fuck I want. And I'm
Let's
just gonna
expand
go-
on this, Jay.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
let's
because
expand.
I mean, this is. I mean, I'm not. That's not on my mind to wear a matching shirt every show.
Aw.
It should be. It's technically our uniform.
It's the
Okay.
only
The whole-
uniform we
yeah, I
have.
mean,
Go
You,
team.
being a sports guy, should understand the importance of a uniform.
You should have
Yeah.
balls on your shirt.
Are you-
I guess.
I don't know where that came
I mean,
from.
you know, the uniform is to basically demonstrate our unity on
I'm
the
sorry.
show. And you're
Our
fucking
unity!
that up, Jay.
Unity.
Yeah.
Is there like a weird like?
Jay's
sound
the
I
guy
can
out
use?
there torching cars, is what we're saying.
Oh,
Yes, he's
snap.
riding
That's what it was.
Yeah.
against the.
He did it in his Epic Radio Show
Epic
shirt, and now it's
Foundation,
dirty,
you
so
know,
he
the-
doesn't
the
want to
The
draw
system,
attention
the
to
man.
himself.
I got.
He's a
I got-
rebel, that Jay.
I singed it.
now
He's
he's
gonna
kinda
go
like,
and
"Oh, I
burn
need
his
another
Epic
one."
Radio
But-
shirts.
but seriously,
I'll
though,
sell it on Facebook.
Like, Jay has more Epic Radio Show shirts than we have in stock. And he doesn't ever have a
This is
clean
silly.
one.
So silly. I have one. So
I know I have like 2, and I'm the owner of this fucking show and
I have one.
everything. And like,
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There's some
Yeah.
shows that
Well-
I don't wear mine either. But
Yeah.
that's just because I don't give a shit sometimes.
yeah,
That's that's a
And
real.
Epic's
That's
not
legit.
gonna
though.
fight that one. I don't.
He's not
think.
gonna
He's
fight
gonna
it.
say
No,
the
that's,
fight
He'll
is
that's the
say
same thing.
something.
I
That
didn't care to
one.
do laundry, so I mean,
No, my laundry's done most of the time. I have days
Yeah.
where I do
It's
laundry.
not that it's not available. Is
It's
what
just
you're saying,
I can
Ashley.
get
It's
to
just
it.
your
I'm like,
way of saying,
I just
"Fuck
don't want to
you."
wear that
It's
today.
what it is.
I just want to wear a different color. I don't want to wear black today. I want to wear white today. I want to wear a different black shirt. That's just what it is.
well, I was planning on putting my hoodie on during the break. But,
oh okay,
yeah.
okay.
Connor said I don't have mine on right now, but you're not on camera, Connor. It's different.
Connor, man.
You should
Yeah.
be. You should be
I'm-
definitely wearing your shirt,
I
but you're
am
not on
so
camera.
disappointed.
I'm like,
man.
But-
what the
let's
hell,
see.
Connor?
we're gonna go into our first
Disappointment.
topic, guys.
I'm kidding.
And get
Connor,
off
you know
Jay's
that,
back.
man.
Chris is very disappointed, Connor. Don't believe me.
No, just slightly disappointed.
Slightly
You know what I
disappointed.
Yeah.
mean? I just thought,
And that's the worst thing.
just slightly.
We're just
I know.
disappointed.
As a parent, you
We're
know,
not mad.
kinda
We're
like
just
that.
disappointed.
You could have been there, Connor.
It's like, disappointed.
We love you though, man.
Sorry.
I don't know what's going on with my chat. It's not
Yeah.
showing up at
Yeah.
all.
You
That's
can't see
alright.
it. Well, I'm trying. I'm looking and I'm
Ashley and I
responding,
are
and
chatting it up plenty here.
we're like, "Hi,
Yeah,
hi,
my chat's not working.
hi."
Anyways, we're gonna go into our first topic, and this one is gonna piss some people off.
Oh no,
Dun,
not on
dun,
the Epic Radio
dun.
I
Show.
know, I know.
Please.
This is kind of sad.
made me sad. But then again, this is me.
So this wedding videography company
Mhm.
denied a refund after man's fiance dies, and then taunts him on his
Furthermore,
website.
goes to
Yes.
Furthermore.
Furthermore,
The fiance
you,
of a
thank you.
Colorado woman who died in a car crash earlier this year is now facing both the grief from her sudden passing as well as the threat of a lawsuit from a videography company. The couple plan to use at their wedding, according to a report. Alexis
Mhm.
Wyatt was killed in a car crash in February just outside of Colorado Springs. Her fiance, Justin Motney, told everyone that the wedding was canceled. He tried to get a refund on the $1,800 deposit he paid to Copper Stallion Media,
Copper Stallion Media.
Yeah.
a wedding videographer and photography company based in Dallas, Texas. But the company said its wedding contracts are non-refundable. Due to the rare circumstances, Motney said they should have honored his request.
Yep, that's right.
After news of Motney's experience began to spread, people left dozens of negative reviews on Copper Stallion Media's social media page. That was a mouthful.
Yeah.
As well as its page on the knot.com, a popular wedding website for help with planning, registries, and finding vendors, according to the station. So let's jump ahead a little bit, okay?
Mhm.
So once he tried to get his refund, the company wasn't really responding at first. So what
No.
happened was people got mad. They started leaving negative reviews on
Yeah,
there.
rightfully so. It's like,
Yeah,
well, what's
leaving
going on?
negative reviews on their websites and whatnot. And then they started bashing this guy, and some of the stuff is just ridiculous that they say. Let's see. There was one that says, we replied and expressed our sympathy and explained to him that all of our wedding contracts are non-refundable, the company states. He kept emailing us trying to get a refund, and we kept reiterating that the contract is non-refundable. We eventually stopped responding since the issue was moot. Okay? Now in the news story, he admits that the contract was non-refundable, but says we should give the money back due to the circumstance. He said, life is a bitch, Justin. Yes. Also, they were saying that the non-refundable deposits are the industry standard, and adding that when a couple reserves a date, that they just blocked off the calendar so no one else can book it. If the wedding is canceled, the company said it has to keep the money as liquidated damages, as
Fuck
there is a
you.
likelihood that they won't rebook the date with someone else.
What do you mean? Like, after all this, why would they go back to you? Why would this guy, regardless of how late in the future, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off.
No,
a
you're
little bit.
fine.
Why would he come back to y'all? Why would he want to do business with you again after all this?
I
Why?
know. And like other things started popping up too with this company. Let me do something real quick. Let's do this. And I know you guys can see on the screen, but I'm gonna blow this up for you guys so you can see just what pieces of shit this company is. So we put this on there, right?
Yep.
Okay, so there on the left side you see the news article. On the right side you see what Copper Stallion Media posted. And it basically shows a picture on the bottom of their post that has the couple together, and like it looked like their wedding invitation. But this is what they wrote. Today would have been the day where we would have filmed Justin and Alexis' wedding in Colorado Springs. After what Justin pulled with the media stunt to try to shake us down for a refund, we hope you sob and cry all day for what would have been your wedding day. Sorry, not sorry.
Like, what the fuck is that?
That's messed up.
Yeah. It's insane. It's absolutely insane that this company
Like that they think somehow that this is a way to handle something like
Yeah,
this.
that's showing real maturity.
I mean, and I hope
What did the fucking teenage
I don't-
girl run this fucking
Yeah,
company?
I was
I
gonna
know that's
say.
what I'm saying. No, and I researched into this a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
and apparently the owner of this company has other companies that were shut down over the years for similar things.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy, when it's like he gets shut down, he opens up a new company under a different name type thing. He's kind of like a troll of like the videographer world, you know?
Yeah, it seems like
So yeah, so like basically that's what keeps happening. He'll book whatever, and then something will happen to where somebody needs a refund, and they
and
just go
basically
ballistic.
he's like, no. Like she died.
Yeah.
Like, what's he supposed to
I
do?
mean,
Are
it's-
you just supposed to expect him to, like I said before, come back to you and want you to be the ones filming their wedding and taking pictures?
I
and
mean, what's
stuff?
he supposed to
Why?
do? Dig her up and like do like
You're supposed to
Corpse's
wait another
Bride
5 to
type
10 years,
situation?
or like
oh,
whatever.
film us.
I mean, I can't
Stop
sit there
motion, you know?
like 5 to 10 years when he finds a potential another person to marry because his fucking fiance just fucking died a few months back. I'm sure he's not over that yet.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna put something on their wedding day, fucking just saying all this shit that is unnecessary to say.
I think
Yeah.
Epic's idea was a great TV show idea, man.
Like, I don't understand that.
We should write this up. This would be a great sitcom kind of thing. You
Yeah.
know?
Kind of like
a guy with his dead wife.
yeah.
Kind of like
That's
what we're
Like a
talking
weekend
about
with Bernie.
That's- That's awful, by
part,
the
Weekend
way.
at
part like
Bernie's,
Santa
yeah.
Clarita Diet, you
Yeah.
know, but zombie instead of.
That's
you know?
awful. If this were Santa Clarita Diet, she'd still be here, but she would just be a zombie.
Yep.
But she would still be. She
Oh, she
just
would
be-
definitely eat his ass.
She would eat his ass.
Not maybe his ass, but like the
I
rest
am
of him.
mad. I am mad because this is fucking ridiculous. Like I
It
said,
is.
who runs
You're
this
right.
company? A 16-year-old girl
I can
like,
actually tell you. So if you
who's
guys
just
want
so
to
spiteful and full of
destroy
hatred.
this guy,
Is this Skylar running this company? Is Emily there too? Like I'm serious. Like these two are real hateful sometimes. So,
what's that?
but I think this level
Well,
of fucked up.
the ending of the whole message just sounded like a teenager.
Exactly. It's like, oh,
Right.
sorry, not sorry.
Yes,
Like, what
the
do you
ending was
mean?
just
Now-
like,
Sorry, not sorry. This isn't
they
Reese's.
also, and this takes it a step further of how bad this guy is.
Mm-hmm.
How bad?
He
is he?
created a website.
Yeah, he created a website.
with this
forgot
guy's
that part.
name, JustinMotneyWedding.com.
Yeah.
In an attempt to build our case against Justin Motney and
Like, who the
refute
fuck
his
is
claims.
gonna side with you?
they should. His,
I'm gonna go to this
He
What
should
website.
other
be able
fucking
to sue
heartless
them
human
for that.
beings are gonna side with you?
Is it still there?
Well, they're out there, unfortunately. Ashley.
Like, it's fucked up. Like, it's
Mm.
real fucked up, though.
I don't
On a
think
scale
it's
of 1 to
working
10,
out, no.
Ashley, what do you think?
This is a solid, like, 11. At
Really? That,
least.
you think?
I'm really upset about this because
Yeah.
his fucking
that-
fiance fucking
Is that
died.
in metric or?
I don't know
or
if it's in met. I don't even
standard
know. I'm not thinking.
inches,
I'm not
an
thinking
11?
that complicated about it.
Alright.
But this is really upsetting because what was he supposed to do? Somehow save her from the car accident so they didn't have to do all this, so this didn't have to happen. Like, I'm sure he would have rather have not had to deal with all this extra shit.
Yeah.
Give him the fucking refund. Go about your fucking
The
life.
guy's
And it
name is
wasn't that
Jesse
much.
J.
It was
Clark.
what, 1,800? He's spending more
Like
money to fight
$2,000,
it.
I think it was.
He's spending more money to fight it than it
Yeah.
would be just to give it back. You
I mean,
know
you're a
what
fucking
I
idiot.
mean?
And
Just-
you know,
what's that about?
and I'm sorry, any company that doesn't
Are
do
you
that,
not sorry, or are you sorry?
I am sorry.
I'm not sorry.
I think there's got to be
I'm
other
sorry.
companies out there that would give him a refund.
Well, and
Any
most of them
decent
did.
person would.
Most of them
Yeah.
did.
But
Even if their policy was non-refundable, during I mean,
There's circumstances.
There's always
Special
exceptions.
circumstances.
Yeah, you know.
Always.
And this is one of
Yeah.
them.
this is it. This
Yep.
this is
What
what you
other
would call
special
an
type of
exception.
circumstance do you need? She died. She is dead. There's
Yeah.
nothing he can do about this. He didn't want her to die. It was a car accident. He
Yeah.
didn't want her to die. He didn't want to have to.
It's not like he killed her.
He didn't
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
be fucking sitting on their wedding day,
didn't cut
sad
those
that she
brake
is
lines.
dead.
Yeah.
This is out of his fucking control, and all you had to do was say, here's your money back.
You know
We're
what I
sorry
say
for
to
your
the
loss.
groom?
Yeah.
Move the
You know
fuck
what I
on.
say to the groom, Ashley? It was a blessing in fucking disguise. Count your blessings and take the
Oh my
$1,800
Fuck you,
God.
Chris. Fuck you too, Chris. Because what the fuck? Give him the fucking refund. You don't even have to have anything to do with this guy beyond this
He would have
point.
lost a whole lot more than $1,800 if he got
Yeah.
married.
You know, not all marriages are like that, Chris, okay? We're sorry. We're sorry about, your situation. But this wasn't
Or not
necessarily their
sorry?
future.
Sorry?
I'm
Not
sorry.
sorry.
I'm sorry that you feel this way
Not
about
sorry.
marriage. But it's not all
That's
marriages.
crazy.
I think Chris goes by Jesse J. Clark outside of
I think
the
this is
Epic Radio
Chris.
Show.
Is this you, Chris? You seem to be a marriage hater.
I am
so
a marriage hater. I do
This
not
seems
believe
like
in the
you're-
sanctity
It's
of
Chris's
marriage.
company.
No,
This
I
seems
do
to be
not.
your realm of.
Been there, done that, tried that.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
definitely Chris's company.
Yeah.
This is his company on the side. I know.
Marriage
we
left a
all
sour
it got
taste
put
in his
together.
mouth.
It's
Yeah.
done. Fuck you, Chris.
Yeah, I've
This
heard
is all
that before
you.
too.
It's all you.
I was married. I've heard that.
Oh
like,
my
yep.
God.
Probably gonna keep hearing it this episode.
That's all right.
There's a
Maybe it's
spider
my
web
day,
hanging.
you know?
Oh man.
There's a spider web hanging. That means there was a spider here. I don't
Yeah,
like
there was
that.
a spider here.
Did you kill it?
I don't know.
The Spider-Man.
I might have like
say that.
vacuumed it up or something. I don't
Okay.
know. You're like all paranoid.
I know. I don't
Did
like
you-
spiders.
Did you vacuum it up? Did you kill it?
I remember- I
Did you
remember,
murder it? Did you save me?
In Carolina, there used to be them spiders that'd be in the showers, and then they just like
Jump at you?
Well, no, yeah, but you spray them with the water, and they just like curl up in a little ball and like roll down the drain.
Related but unrelated. Are spiders supposed to kill moths? Is that one of the insects that spiders kill?
I
don't
think
know.
so, probably.
Then why the fuck do we have so many moths if there's a fucking spider in this
Oh,
bitch?
Oh, he's on strike.
Yeah.
You know, he needs to fucking get back to his job. That's all I ask of him.
Yeah.
Kill the fucking
Are
moths.
are they flying around in here? Because I don't think spiders travel too well.
Fuck! No, they're just anywhere. Sometimes they're down here.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're upstairs.
There's a
Sometimes
lot of-
they're up upstairs.
We have centipedes too. I know they
Fuck
eat
those
moths.
centipedes.
Yeah, centipedes eat
Well, you're not doing your
Yeah.
job either, centipedes. That's why you don't belong
I-
in my house.
Yeah, I can't deal with it.
I don't care if they're actually doing their job, but
Yeah.
they're not. So.
It's so crazy because you don't want to kill the centipede because it eats other bugs.
Oh no, I
but,
want to kill that
but
centipede.
when you see the centipede's actually uglier than all the other
I
bugs.
know.
Like you're
right?
fucking gross.
Ashley,
Yeah.
pass the bug spray, would you?
I don't have any.
Oh, we're all out.
We're not
Oh.
infested, by the way.
No, we're not infested. We just have these goddamn centipedes and we have these goddamn moths that
Just
just
spiders.
and like a random
Oh, my.
spider, but they're not doing their jobs. They're not killing each other
Yeah.
like they're supposed to be. Kill each other. Stop it. Stop trying to come after me and get in my face.
What if we thought about use the same ideology, Ashley, with our children
What?
as we do with the pests?
No. I don't want them to kill each other.
Yeah.
Tone, is that how you say
Yes.
it? Okay, said, I wonder if the contract they signed said including death. And then she said, still fuck up. Like, which I
mean,
agree.
I don't think they usually do include
No,
that.
I'm sure they don't, because
Yeah.
I'm sure that's something that that doesn't happen that often.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that should be a circumstance to where they're like,
Yeah, for
well,
sure.
For sure. I mean,
obviously this really
Yeah.
fucking sucks.
yeah, I'm sorry,
you.
but like,
You
you
can't
know,
have a little sympathy for the dude.
Right.
yeah, you know,
Hey,
like
Sarah.
every other company that this guy asked and told them the situation, they were more than happy. You know why?
Right.
Because you don't want to be on the news as being the only guy
Being these
that's
fucking
not
assholes.
being sympathetic to this guy. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually good for business because it
Right,
shows
you
you
would
have
have
a
looked
heart.
Yeah.
like a decent person,
Yeah.
but now you look like a total asshole,
Right.
Chris.
And then he's talking about
Fucking
as
Chris.
far as the
No, I
date,
agree with you.
the date being taken
Oh,
up.
we
Hold on.
figured
Hold
out,
on,
Chris.
Jake's trying to say
Sorry,
something.
Jay. Go
No,
ahead,
you're
Jay.
good. You're good. As far as the date being taken up, this guy's photography place probably isn't even that popular to where that date would have been
Right.
taken.
My other question is, why the fuck did they book somebody from Dallas if they're like in Colorado?
I guess, I mean, that's just kind of
well,
whatever.
he probably
I mean,
doesn't have
just-
good business. He probably has
Just
no
take
business.
whatever
mean-
they can get.
I mean, I guess Colorado probably isn't like a prominent videography place, but
Yeah.
still.
Colorado.
Oh, maybe they
Yeah,
just
you would
liked
think.
the work they
I
did.
think
Maybe
it's
that, I
very
don't know. Like,
beautiful.
Yeah.
I
fuck
mean,
you, Chris. This is all your fault. This is your company, so I'm mad.
Yep.
Fuck Chris.
And I ain't giving him his fucking money back.
I know you're not. You've made that abundantly clear.
Dude, I saved you. That's what I did. I saved you.
That's funny.
Thousands and thousands of dollars.
Still
and
fucked up,
hours of
Chris.
Why
misery
did you
and
like cut her
tears.
brake lines? What the?
What do
fuck?
you mean, Chris?
How are
Yeah.
you saving
you in-
her?
are you-
Or saving him?
Are you fucking admitting to the murder?
No. I'm BSing.
Okay.
That's crazy. I would.
Oh,
that
man.
extra
There's a
$40,000 in
Yeah.
the checking
It's gonna be a
account.
So
conspiracy
he,
I don't know where it
the,
came
so
from.
this is what really went down.
Chris.
The husband,
I didn't do
the
it.
husband hired the photographer
can't prove I was in Colorado.
to cut the brake lines. So that was actually the payment, and it was
Yeah.
covered up.
I don't know.
So now he's trying to sue him to get the money back, but the photographer.
I figured it out. I
Oh.
know who's the mastermind of this whole
So who
thing.
done it? He solved it.
Carol fucking
I
Baskin.
knew he was
fucking
going there. I
Baskin.
saw that one coming. I knew he was going to do
Fucking
that.
Carol Baskin.
I knew it.
Carol
Get the
Baskin.
fuck out of people's shit.
You don't know who Carol Baskin is?
No.
Oh my god.
Sorry, he didn't know there was riots
You're
and
under a
cars
rock.
burning in the
Offered to
street
do
either
a
today.
Yeah.
Well, no, it sounds
Slideshow or
familiar.
something
Oh,
to
I'm
keep
from the
their mind.
Tiger King, man.
Oh no. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
My bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They should.
You're, yeah, that is.
I mean, I agree. Carol probably had something to do
Yeah.
with this.
I heard they're reopening. Like they're reopening
The case, yeah, they are.
Oh, yeah, I heard
Good.
that too.
But
Because
we have to-
everyone that
Wait,
watched that
wait,
is
no,
like
we're not done.
it's
No, we're not done.
it's as
done.
plain
Okay.
as in sight. Like when everyone watched that, everyone but the detectives are like, she did it.
Oh,
I
she
know.
did it. Like, how do you know so much about? Like, no, just no.
Yeah.
She did it. So, Tone said they should have offered to do a compilation of old photos for him and made a slideshow or something to keep their money. Give him something if you're not going to refund the money.
Exactly.
Do something. Be decent,
Something.
Chris. But
Yeah.
no, can't be decent.
Be decent. Be human.
Right.
Be decent.
And no, Chris, I don't really think you would
You know,
do that.
I meant
Just
what I
saying.
said, Ashley, in a way to provide, you know, like condolences to the guy who lost his fiance. Think of
Okay.
it this way: it's a positive thing, man.
It's not.
No,
It
it's
at
not.
all.
is. The
No.
guy,
It's
the
not.
guy saved him. You know,
no.
No, he didn't.
he only lost.
I don't think Tommy
18.
would be like
I don't
You
think
only
you
lost
super
get how
happy
that
if like
works.
He only lost.
I don't think you-
$1,800. That's it.
No,
No, Chris.
no, he didn't.
He lost his
Lost
fiance
time
and
and
$2,000, but the
memories that-
$2,000 like probably
Fake
pales in comparison.
memories.
But
Yeah.
it would probably, you know, it's just like, well,
Listening to her say the same thing.
Kinda like- kinda like, you know, it's almost it's really fucked up for me to say
God
this.
Damn it, Chris.
It's fucked up for me to think that way. That like it's kind of pointless now for me to put this $2,000 because now there's going to be no wedding, and it's just sad. I'm just sad about this.
Yeah.
I'm angry and I'm
You
sad.
know when a wedding doesn't happen?
No, Chris.
An angel falls from heaven.
No, Chris. Fuck out
Oh
of
my
here.
god. Well, make sure you follow us on the social media.
Make sure you follow us.
Facebook, YouTube,
After that-
Instagram.
Oh.
Chris's hatred of marriage.
Yeah.
Whatever, it's cool.
Join our Discord.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
yeah, do that.
do that.
Do that, yeah.
Not this,
She's
but
gonna put a
that.
link on there.
Am I?
Yes.
Ooh, am
She's gonna
I?
put a link on there.
Here it comes.
Join our Discord.
Oh, do
Make
it.
sure you watch us on theepicradioshow.com
if you
every
think
Sunday.
this is a fucking stupid time, then
Yes. Also, we have Patreon.
yay.
Patreon.com / the Epic Radio Show. $5 a month. You get access
is
to
terrible.
our newest
Accurate.
podcast, who is hosted by Connor, and it's called Beyond Epic. And it's really pretty awesome what he's been doing there.
Yeah,
So-
good job, Connor.
Yes. So $5 is all you need.
Chris is terrible, but
Yeah.
Connor is not terrible.
But we
I'm
do have to
always
take a break because we're overdue for our guest.
Yes.
So I'm gonna go ahead and go on break. When we get back, we're gonna have Jeffrey Gurian, And if you don't know who this guy is, stay tuned because
it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good interview. All right. We will see you in a few.
You're listening to The Epic Radio Show, live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and theepicradioshow.com. Listen to us anytime on the iHeartRadio app. Download today on the App Store or Google Play, and take this show on the road. The Epic Radio Show, Make life epic.
Make life epic.
Hey, Epic fans, this is Jay Val. Home buying is complicated. You need someone who you can trust and has your best interest in mind and not just the size of the commission check. That someone is Jeremy Rodriguez with Russell Real Estate. Jeremy grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, and a graduate from James Ford Rhodes High School in 2001. If you are looking to sell your home, searching for your next home, or if you just want to talk about the process, please feel free to contact him. As an agent who himself still resides in Cleveland, he knows the neighborhood, the schools, and the market inside out. Get in touch with Jeremy. He is happy to help you with all your needs, from helping you identify a lender to getting a moving truck and even helping you pack. Call Jeremy Rodriguez now at 216-287-1766 or email him at jeremysellsdreams@gmail.com. Find him on Facebook now. That number again is 216-287-1766.
My guest this week is really exciting. Some of you may not recognize his name, but his influence has spanned over 35 years of comedy. His writing credits include Robin Williams, Mitch Hedberg, and Rodney Dangerfield, to name a few. Please welcome to the show the incredibly infamous Jeffrey Gurian.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, we're doing great.
Good. I just want to clarify one thing in my introduction.
Sure.
I didn't write for Mitch Hedberg. We were just good friends.
Oh, okay.
But there's a very long list of people that I did write for, like Rodney Dangerfield and Joan
Yes.
Ripple and Richard Belzer and Gilbert Gottfried. So it's just, I just want to clarify that. I don't need credits that I didn't earn.
All right. Well, my introduction kind of leads me to my first question.
Okay.
And I'm sorry for the way this might come off. This might sound like kind of a backhanded compliment, but bear with me. But how do you feel about the fact that you seem to be important to a wide range of A-list comedians, but to the normal person, you're a virtual unknown?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you feel about that?
Well, I seem to hold a very unique place in the comedy world. People are doing a documentary film about me right now. How do I feel about it? No one can change their life. Most people are not known by anybody. They're known by their friends.
That's true.
So,
Absolutely.
So, the fact that TV stations cover me, I've been on every news show. I'm not a household name by any chance, but people in the industry know who I am. And when I was in the hospital recently for COVID double pneumonia, I got support and prayers from the head of Netflix, from the head of the Just for Laughs Festival, both of them, who sent me messages that I have a lifetime pass waiting for me at the festival because it wouldn't be a festival without me.
Oh.
Those are their words, and that's the biggest comedy festival in the world. So important people know who I am, and they value my presence and my friendship, and I value them as well. So it is what it is, you know. I
mean, that's a good attitude to have, you know, because honestly, I feel like that most people, I mean, in their lifetime probably couldn't do or achieve half of the things you have. It's really incredible. So I just was wondering if like there was any type of like things you would want to change along the way, or anything that you thought could have been better.
No, I wouldn't change a thing. I was way ahead of my time. I was doing Monty Python stuff before the Pythons. And, you know, I had meetings in the early days when I first started my comedy career with every agent. And I was showing them films that I had made. It's how I got started. I brought these crazy films up to Saturday Night Live. I was driving what I could only describe as a pimp-mobile in those days. It was a Mandarin Orange Eldorado, a Cadillac Eldorado that had been made for one of the Isley brothers. And he decided not to take it, and I bought it. And I put a Rolls Royce grill on it like the pimps drove with big white wall tires. And I was doing films like They were like false crimes. Like several men were arrested for smearing cream cheese on the ankles of elderly women who wore their stockings rolled down like bagels. I don't know if you've ever seen old.
Yeah.
So it looked like bagels to me. So I got my dear grandmother, who had such a wonderful sense of humor. I was so sick with comedy that she actually let me put cream cheese on her ankles, and she made believe she had a Jewish accent. And she said, she said, in the Jewish religion, we have two kind of stockings, one for milk and one for meat. She goes, and this crazy man, he smeared cream cheese on my meat stockings, and I can't get it off. And then I zoomed in on her ankles with the cream cheese. So I brought that up to Saturday Night Live, and the show was very new in those days.
Yeah.
And you know the name Alan Zweibel, I'm sure, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Alan Zweibel, for those who don't know, is an award-winning comedy writer, producer, director. He created It's Gary Shandling Show. Mm-hmm. He was very close to Gilda Radner and wrote the book Bunny Bunny about Gilda Radner. He's very, very famous. But at the time, we were all kids. He was playing handball on the wall. And I drove down to Saturday Night Live in my Pimpmobile. And I threw the doorman a couple of bucks, because in those days there was no terrorism. You could drive right up to the door. These days it's all closed. You can't get anywhere near the building. But I drove right up to the door in that car. I had a CB radio in the shape of a telephone, because there was no cell phones. There was no car phones. But I was very ostentatious in this car, and I drove up and I threw the doorman a few bucks, and I said, watch my car. Lorne Michaels is expecting me. Lorne Michaels never heard of me, but in a car like that, you could get away with anything, you know?
Yeah.
And I snuck up to SNL, and I showed Alan Zweibel my tape, and he loved it. And he said he never saw anything like that before. And he called his manager, a man named David Jonas, and asked him to meet with me, which was so nice. He didn't just give me the information. He actually called him on my behalf. And he said, you got to meet with this guy. And David Jonas was managing Freddie Prinze at the time, and was the one who got him the show Chico and the Man. Not Freddie Prinze Jr., but Freddie Prinze Sr. And that's how I got started writing comedy. It took me about a year, because I was thinking of, like, it was like sketch stuff, like cream cheese on the ankles. To this day, I just spoke to Alan about 2 weeks ago, because he has a new book coming out. And he notified me about the book. And he said to me, you know, I still remember cream cheese on the ankles. And it's like, it's more than 35 years ago.
That's great.
But that image sticks out in his mind. So,
Jeffrey, that's a great story.
It is. It really is.
Well, I have so many, but that's really how I got started. And I was doing films about the Masters of Disguise at the time. The Masters of Disguise were two master criminals who disguised themselves as inanimate objects to commit their crimes. So it starts out as two men disguised as coats rob a hat store. They come in over the arms of two other men, and they say, just act natural like we're your coats and nobody will get hurt.
Oh my God.
And then police draw composite drawings of the perpetrators, and it's two coats. And so I did many, many crimes by the Masters of Disguise. And all those things were on this tape. So I had meetings with every agency. They were all interested in meeting with me. And everybody said, we love this stuff, but we don't know where to put it. There's no place. Nobody was doing absurdist comedy in those days. And so all these years, I got to meet with everybody. Dave Becky, I mean, just like I was at every place. And they all knew my early work, and they all thought it was funny. But everybody said the same thing. You're way ahead of your time. And nobody took the opportunity to try to do something new and create a show out of it. Many people thought about it, but nobody did it. And then Jack Rollins, you know, I was, at the time that all this was happening, I was a practicing cosmetic dentist. So are you familiar with the name Jack Rollins?
I'm not. I'm sure Chris is, though. Yeah.
Okay, well, Jack Rollins managed Woody Allen, Billy Crystal, and Robin Williams. So how's that for credits?
Yeah, yeah.
At the end of every Woody Allen movie, it says produced by Rollins and Jaffe, Charlie Jaffe and Jack Rollins. And Jack Rollins just left us a couple of years ago at 100 years old.
Oh, wow.
And he was very influential in helping me in my career. He sent me up to Saturday Night Live a couple of years later with some other projects that I was doing to meet with the head writer. And he said to me, I don't even have to look at your stuff. If Jack Rollins says you're funny, you're funny. You know?
Hey, Jeffrey, are these stories chronicled in a book that's out there by chance? Because these are great stories, you know?
No, I haven't written a book about it. It feels too egotistical.
But you've written a number of books, though, but none that have chronicled.
Well,
written
speaking
six.
of books, you actually have a current Amazon bestseller right now.
I do, yeah. And that's a very important book to me. It's my 6th book. It's the first book that I wrote really about myself. It's a very personal book, but not really stories about my life. Again, it feels egotistical. But there are people doing a documentary on me now, and those stories will come out in the film.
Okay.
But my book on happiness is a very important book to me. It's called, I'll hold it up so you could see it.
Sure. I actually have a picture of it too.
Okay. So it's called Healing Your Heart by Changing Your Mind, a spiritual and humorous approach to achieving happiness, which is everybody's goal all over the world. That's all people really want, is to be happy.
Of course.
And that's why what we do in comedy is so important, bringing laughter to people. But, you know, healing your heart is not about heart disease. And it's interesting because I wound up having a heart attack in 2015. But that's not what the book is about. Since we're children, every time someone hurts your feelings or yells at you or breaks a promise to you or insults you or breaks up with you in a relationship, all those things stay inside of us. You internalize them. You take them into your heart chakra, and I call them heart wounds. And they stay with you for your whole life. And they affect your self-esteem and your self-confidence. And they affect every decision that you make. Because every time you're called upon to make a decision, you think about what to do. And if your thoughts are not valid, if some of your thoughts are negative against yourself or they're faulty, your decisions won't work out for you. It's the reason why people go through life with getting the same bad job. Every time they get a job, it ends the same bad way, or the same bad relationship over and over again. And the only common denominator is them. The other people all change. They're the ones that keep showing up. So something about our thinking is faulty. So about myself, I was a very severe stutterer until I was in my 20s and beyond, in my 30s too. I stuttered so badly that I couldn't even say my name. I could never say Gurian. Most stutterers have a hard time saying their name. And my parents had sent me to speech therapy and no one was able to help me. And I realized one day that I didn't stutter when I was alone. I only stuttered when I was trying to talk to somebody else, which told me that there was really nothing wrong with me because you can't have a disability based on your location. You know what I'm saying? A man with a limp limps in every room of his house. He can't go into a room by himself and walk perfectly. But if I could speak perfectly when I'm alone, then theoretically it means there's nothing wrong with me, that I created this false disability in my head for whatever reason.
Brilliant.
So I started stuttering when I was 6 or 7 years old. So I had to cure myself. And what I did was I learned that I had to change a thought. I had to examine my thoughts, which is a very hard thing to do, to be objective about your own thoughts, because we tend to believe our own thoughts, but you created them. And the interesting thing is that your thoughts are not based on your experience. They're based on your interpretation of your experience. So you can have siblings grow up in the same household. They're completely different people. And if you ask them about their childhood, you'll think they had different parents.
Exactly. Yep.
Right? Because their interpretation of their experience is completely different. And a lot of people were bullied as children. A lot of people had mean things said to them by strangers even. And in some part of your mind, you hold on to that and you hold on to these negative thoughts. So what I had to do is I had to work very hard to release myself from negative thoughts about myself and give myself, take what must have been an inferiority complex and turn it into a superiority complex, not to feel better than people, but just to feel even.
Yeah.
So that's a long answer to your story, but that's a lot about what my book is about.
Yeah.
Is learning to change the way you think to create happiness in your life.
And how did this book help you when you had COVID? You just recently recovered from COVID-19. You got double pneumonia from that. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience and what you went through?
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a very, very difficult time. I've been sick. I just got better the last few days. I've been sick basically for 2 months. I was sick for 14 days before I had to call an ambulance. And I'm just going to take a quick drink of water because
that's fine.
My throat gets dry still from the pneumonia.
Mm-hmm. Is it Aquafina?
It is, yeah.
I've heard a joke, and I don't remember who wrote it. You might even know. But it might have even been George Carlin. But said Aquafina, the end of water.
I never heard of it. But
no? Yeah.
That sounds like Carlin.
Yeah. I think it was Carlin when the bottled water industry really started taking off in the mid to late 90s. You know, he did a joke about bottled water. Oh, everybody's buying bottled water instead of drinking from their tap. You know?
No, I know, and it's funny to me because for years I made fun of people drinking bottled water.
Yeah.
But especially now with the pandemic and not going out, and I had a kidney stone a few years ago, and people said the doctors told me I have to drink a lot of water. So I started buying bottled water, and it's just funny the things that you make fun of. You actually wind up doing it.
I know.
I hated people. Everybody traveling with a bottle of water. I'm like, you know, people are morons. Everybody wants to be so trendy. So people in New York City, you know, it's the home of all trends, you know. And so it just used to strike me so funny, and now I do it too.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful what you make fun of.
Yes. Yes.
So I was sick for 2 months. A few days before I got sick, you know, when I'm not performing, I'm covering the comedy scene, which I've been doing for 20 years, Comedy Matters TV. It started as a zine, and then it became a video thing, and I have a YouTube channel with a couple of million views and over 500 videos with everybody from Jimmy Fallon on down. Everybody's on my channel. Nick Kroll and John Mulaney, who have been such great friends of mine. But I was out covering the comedy scene. 4 days before I got sick, I did my own podcast at the legendary comedy club, The Comic Strip. I did the book on the comic strip with Chris Rock, who wrote the introduction to the book. And the owner, Richie Tinkin, is a very, very dear friend for many years. And he gives me the club to use for my podcast. I do it from the stage because it's an iconic stage. It's where Seinfeld and Adam Sandler recently did their Netflix special. So to me, it's a very important place. So Ron Bennington from Sirius XM Radio was my guest that day. And it was just the two of us and my team because people were already concerned about the virus. And we were joking about it, you know, like, you know, if there was an empty area in the club, it'd be like, is this the coronavirus section? You know, people weren't really taking it very seriously at that point. The next night, I went to see Jerry Seinfeld and Barry Sonnenfeld at the 92nd Street Y about Barry's new book. Jerry was interviewing him, and the place was packed. The auditorium must have had 600 people, and it was absolutely packed. The next night, I was shooting videos for an upcoming project at clubs around town. I went to Gotham Comedy Club, New York Comedy Club, down to the Grizzly Pear. We can shout out Kenny Warren and Gabe Dorado, by the way.
Yeah. We've had Gabe Dorado on the show. He's a great guy.
Yeah, I was with Chris Mazzilli, the owner of Gotham, an amazing guy, runs one of the best clubs in the city. And that was that night. And then the next night, I covered a National Lampoon show. There was a UCB showcase that was supposed to go off earlier, and I was already concerned about going to 2 shows in one night. I'm like, I shouldn't push this. And then the UCB show ended up getting canceled, which made my decision easier. But I did go to the National Lampoon show because they're new in New York. These guys, Evan Shapiro is the new president of National Lampoon, and a guy named Gian Hunjan is like a VP. And they personally invited me to the show, and I wanted to go to support because I love to support people that are doing cool things. And when someone is kind enough to invite me personally, I always show up. So I went, and I went with trepidation. And I got there early, and I went to, there was a nearby Trader Joe's, and unknowingly I stocked up on food, not knowing that I was going to need that for the next 14 days. Yeah. But nobody was social distancing yet. Everybody was crowded. The lines were very long to check out already. And everybody was right on top of each other. Because people asked me, where do you think you got sick? Because I got sick the very next day. But who knows where you took the wrong breath within the last 14 days.
For sure.
I could have been anywhere.
Yeah.
It didn't happen the night before, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So it started as a cold. And I thought, you know, okay, I'm sneezing and coughing. And it didn't really strike me the first couple of days. The third day, it was Friday the 13th, and it went to my throat. And when I get a cold, it always goes to my throat. And I keep Z-Pak in the house. And luckily, for some reason, I had 2 courses of Z-Pak. Usually Z-Pak is a 5-day course, a 5-day regimen. But I had 2 of them. And I started taking the Z-Pak. And I truly believe that's one of the things that saved me, because I didn't know that hospitals were using Z-Pak in conjunction with hydroxychloroquine and zinc. Huh. I didn't realize that that was like a 3-way thing. I just started taking it, and I took it for 10 days as I got sicker and sicker. And I kept telling myself I can breathe. But I had a fever, but I couldn't tell how high because I had this stupid old thermometer that my great-grandmother in Russia would have made fun of this for how it was like one of those glass and mercury thermometers. I didn't even own a digital thermometer. I couldn't read it.
Oh my god!
So I didn't know how much fever I had, but I was getting night sweats. Usually, after you get a night sweat, the fever breaks. But in this case, the fever would come back every night. I'd be sweating. I got chills when my whole body was shaking so bad. My teeth were chattering. I couldn't even hold the glass.
Wow.
I had body pain like I couldn't believe. My back, my legs, every place hurt. I was nauseous from morning to night. It didn't leave, and I couldn't throw up. Usually when you're nauseous, you can find a cool spot on the bed. You could find some place to lay down. Nothing stopped. My head was pounding, constant nausea. Dramamine didn't help. After 14 days, I was bleeding from my nose.
Wow.
I couldn't take it anymore. And
so it took you 14 days to check yourself into a hospital?
Yeah, I was afraid to go to the hospital because of my heart condition that put me in a high risk. And I was nervous that I would catch more germs in the hospital. So I kept telling myself, this has to get better. How many days can you be sick?
Yeah.
And instead, I just got worse and worse to the point where I just couldn't take the pain anymore.
Gotcha.
It had to overcome the fear. So I called an ambulance that morning. I waited till the morning because I couldn't get myself to go to the hospital in the middle of the night. It's too scary. And you don't know who's on duty in the middle of the night. There's no experienced physicians on at that time. And I don't know how I got through it. I called 911. And they interviewed me on the phone because at the time, New York was so overrun with cases, they weren't sending ambulances for just anyone.
Yeah.
When I told them about my symptoms and that I had a history of a heart condition, they said, we're coming for you. And that's when the magic kind of started. I had already been using the concepts in my book to try to center myself, to try to stay positive. When the ambulance crew came, they were 2 of the nicest guys in the world. I live in a very big building, a 36-story building. I left my door open just in case I couldn't get to the door to let them in, which is an important thing to do for anybody who's listening. If you ever have to call an ambulance, leave your door open so that they have a way to get in case you're incapacitated and you can't get to the door by the time they get there. So these two guys show up in this huge stretcher, and they were all gowned and masked, of course. And this one guy was so nice and so kind, and he took my hand and he said to me, "Don't worry, you're going to be okay." And I can't tell you what that meant to me. For somebody to say that when you're that sick.
Yeah, for sure.
I think, this is my theory, that when you're that sick, you become kind of childlike. You feel like you need somebody to take care of you.
Yeah.
You know, you revert back to childhood, because this is a very alone disease. You're quarantining, unless you're married and you have a family with you. My kids are grown and they live other places. So I'm by myself. So
did any of them come to visit you or check on you while you were in the hospital?
I wouldn't allow them to.
No.
First of all, I was in isolation.
Oh, okay.
I was dangerous. You couldn't, only one person at a time was allowed in my room.
Okay.
So when they brought me to the emergency room, they found the space for me. They were already so crowded, they weren't sure they could find a cubicle for me. They found a place for me, and they put me in. At the time, you know how they say your blood pressure is normal at 120/80?
Yes.
Okay, my 80 had dropped to 42.
Oh, wow.
So my circulatory system was collapsing, and they had a hard time finding a vein to start an IV. They put me next to a woman who was screaming. And when I say screaming, I mean she was screaming with every exhalation. Every time she breathed out, it was a scream. So you could imagine the state, how hard that is to deal with, because I'm so sick. They're poking around trying to find the vein. And I had to use the principles in my book, because there's a tendency to feel sorry for yourself. Like, why is all this happening? And why is it happening to me? And one of the spiritual principles is, well, why not me? Whoever promised you that your life is supposed to be perfect and that you're never supposed to get sick or have anything bad happen to you?
Yeah.
So I had to step outside myself and feel sorry for this woman about how scared she must be or how much pain she must be in, so I could detach from the fact of how uncomfortable it was making me laying next to someone who was screaming with every breath. So I was begging them to give me something to take away the nausea, because I couldn't stand it anymore. They finally gave me a pill, and I laid there for hours. And finally, they came and they took a chest x-ray of me. And I mean, many people came in and they took medical histories and all, but then they left. They gave me a button to press if I needed a nurse. But when I pressed it, it didn't work. So I'm laying there in a closed thing. I can't get anybody's attention. And I'm by myself, and I need help. And I had to call out to people. I had to advocate for myself very often, which is not an easy thing to do, to get people's attention.
Well, especially when you have double pneumonia. I mean, I'm sure you didn't really have the lung capacity that you normally would have to.
Exactly. I was very hoarse, but at the time I didn't know yet. They took a chest x-ray and an ultrasound of my lungs, and then a pulmonary specialist came and said to me, "You have COVID double pneumonia."
Wow.
And it hit me like a shock, like a blast, because I knew I was sick and I knew I had the virus. There was no question in my mind, but to hear the words double pneumonia was really scary to me. I had never had pneumonia in my life, and as a doctor myself, I know that means I have fluid in my lungs.
Yeah.
So they were actually debating whether to send me home or not, because they weren't keeping everybody. They needed beds. And they agreed to keep me, because I told them, I said, I'm alone. I can't do this by myself anymore. I'm too sick. So a few hours later, they found a room for me, late afternoon. I had gotten there in the morning. They brought me to this room. And if I wasn't sick, it would have been a gorgeous room.
Yeah.
It was a huge private room in isolation. It had a sign, negative pressure. I remember as they wheeled me in. It meant that they didn't allow the air to escape outside.
Wow.
And they used the room. They had been using the room for cancer patients. but they moved all the cancer patients and they created a COVID wing. They took me to NYU Langone Hospital, by the way, which coincidentally, I taught at NYU for 12 years in the oral medicine and orofacial pain department. So it was very interesting that I wound up in that particular hospital. And they nursed me back to health. They covered me with ice. The first thing they did, they took off my sneakers and my socks and they gave me a gown. And it just made me feel like I was being taken care of. They were so busy, they didn't even have a pillow for my bed.
Jeffrey, they didn't try to put a schmear on those socks now, did they? I had to. I apologize, my
No,
friend.
that's okay, on my ankles,
Yeah.
right. But my feet were swelling up from the virus. At the time, they didn't know that that was one of the symptoms. I developed a rash on my back, such a bad rash that they took
Oh, wow.
pictures of. They thought it was because they had no pillow, so they wrapped up a rough blanket and put it behind me.
Oh.
But in weeks later, it turns out that many people who have the virus get a rash. And that's probably what that was. It was so new that a lot of people weren't familiar with the symptoms. So on my second day, they finally got my fever down. They put ice packs on my head and under my arms and on my legs to bring down my fever. When I saw 98.6 on the thermometer, by the way, they gave me a digital thermometer. They let me keep it and take it home. My greatest gift of all time. I can't tell you. I take my temperature every once in a while just to test it out. It's so
Yeah.
fun to see 98.6.
Yeah.
When I saw it in the hospital, it brought tears to my eyes. I have to tell you, I was so relieved to see a change. On the second day, they started me on that hydroxychloroquine.
Mhm.
And I don't care what people say. I know there's a controversy about it, but this hospital was doing research on it. And that drug helped me because they gave me a double dose in the morning and a double dose at night, along with zinc sulfate. They didn't give me more Z-Pak because I had been on it for 10 days.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I started to feel a change by that night.
Wow.
And they told me that they were going to move me the next day. And I was like, I was concerned. I'm like, why would you move me? I'm just starting to feel a little bit better. And they're like, because we need this room for sicker people.
Oh, wow.
And so that was another thing. I had to do this thing in my head. They moved me to a room on the third day, which was a nightmare. They put me in a room with 3 other very sick men, all with the virus. And I can't tell you how horrible that was to be surrounded by people with the virus and all much sicker than me. The man next to me was an elderly Chinese man who didn't speak English. And I thought he was dying. That's how bad he sounded. He was choking and coughing. I had to call the nurse for him. I was concerned for him, but I was also concerned for me because he was coughing into the air. And I'm laying right next to him. And I'm in a weakened condition, and this thing can be spread by coughing.
Yes.
And he's choking and coughing into the air. And there was no other place to move me. They had no rooms. They were putting people in the hallways already.
Wow.
The man across from me was throwing up nonstop, and the man in the other bed, a 43-year-old man, had to be rushed to intensive care because his breathing suddenly dropped within minutes. Dropped from 93 to 80. So this disease is very scary. You could be okay 1 minute, and a few minutes later, you're deathly ill. That's how it works.
That's great.
So a couple of nurses came by. The hospital staff was so supportive. I can't tell you, a couple of nurses took the time to come and sit with me and hold my hand and tell me that I'm going to be okay. And again, that kindness meant so much. It may sound so simple, but when you're that sick, it really means a lot. Ron Bennington announced my situation on Sirius XM radio, and I started getting hundreds and hundreds of messages from fans, from the comedy community. I got amazing messages from people. Bill Burr wrote me such a beautiful message. Nick Kroll and John Mulaney and Bert Kreischer and Gad Elmaleh called me from Paris. to send me love and wish me healing energy. Jim Norton, I can't tell you how many people reached out to me, and I was too sick to answer. But just knowing that many people were thinking of me, you know, I'm a very big believer in the power of prayer and the power of thought.
Amen.
And when so many people are focusing their energy on one thing, I really believe that it has an effect. And I can honestly say that it helped me. I think it helped strengthen my immune system.
Mhm.
In order to heal, you have to stay positive.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, it's very easy to go negative, you know? And so my book, the principles in my book, you can't only talk the talk, you have to walk the walk, right?
Yeah.
So I had to keep focusing. Like, yeah, I'm sick, but I can't feel sorry for myself because there are people here that are much sicker than I am. And with any luck, I'm going to get out of here. And some people may not. And I had to keep reminding myself to not engage in self-pity, that people were caring about me and that they wanted me to come back. And it was a crazy process. So on the third day, they told me that they were probably going to discharge me the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And with 4 guys sharing one small bathroom, I couldn't wait to get out of there.
Yeah.
It was horrible. I had to say, can you please send in a cleaning crew to clean the bathroom because I can't go in there.
Gotcha.
And you know, it was really horrible. But again, better than being left in the hall in New York. They were putting people in Central Park. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Being sick and being put in a tent in
Yeah.
Central Park. I mean, that has to be a nightmare.
I mean, nobody wants to go there when they're well, much less sick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it was insane.
Yeah.
And on the 4th day, they told me they were going to try and send me home by noon. So by 2 in the afternoon, when they brought me lunch, I realized I wasn't getting out by noon. And one of the doctors came in and said to me, he goes, I don't know what the holdup is. I authorized your release this morning. So by 3:30, 3:25, an ambulance crew comes in. And they said, we have your release for 3:30. I never got dressed so fast in my life. I put on clothes. It was like, I broke all records. And one nurse was kind enough to go to the pharmacy to get me my medication to take
That's
home
awesome.
because I still needed to take hydroxychloroquine and more zinc. And the ambulance crew was not allowed to make a stop to get it. So this nurse said, don't worry, I'll go get it for you. And people were so amazingly nice and so supportive. Everybody from the cleaning crew to the people who wheel you through the hospital, everybody was trying to give me support and comfort. And these guys, they strapped me into a stretcher. They were very surprised that I could get on the stretcher myself. I did it both times. I hopped up on the stretcher when they came to my house.
Mm-hmm.
The guy said to me, we have to carry most people. He said, of all the people I've seen, you have the best physical presentation of all of the sick people that I've seen.
Huh.
That's a blessing.
So, yeah, it was amazing. So when they took me home, they strapped me in.
Was that Z-Pack, right?
I really believe that. I'm telling you. Because after I got home, I read stories. I researched it. Z-Pack, they said, is very good for pneumonia and to protect your lungs.
Okay.
And so the fact that I put myself on it for 10 days, that I had enough to do that, was a blessing because I was afraid to call my doctor. I called my doctor on Friday, March 20th, and he said to me, it sounds like you should be in the hospital. And I said, look, I'm afraid to go.
Yeah.
And somehow I waited another 6 days. I don't know how I endured.
Well, we're glad you're with us now.
Yes,
And I don't think I don't think anybody's ready for a world without Jeffrey Gurian.
Thank you. So New York One wound up doing a story on it. And
I saw that. That's crazy.
It's so funny for a guy who's not a household name. I wound up getting a lot of press.
There you go, buddy.
Exactly, right?
People were very, very kind. They did a really nice story. And the story ran the whole weekend. It ran all of Memorial Day. New York One runs their stories every couple of hours. So I've gotten tremendous response from people.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it was that book that those positive concepts. I had to really fight to stay positive,
Yeah.
and I had to just keep certain things in mind. Literally changing my mind.
I'm
And
gonna
I think that's important for people to know.
I'm gonna put the image of the book back up, and this is available on Amazon. Is there any other place that it's available?
Yeah, in all bookstores, Barnes and Noble, but it's available as an ebook, as a paperback, and also as an audio book. For people who don't like to read, they could just listen.
Who does your who is reading it? Who's the voice?
Me.
You? Oh, you got to do it.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, it was so weird. You know how like amazing things seem to happen. After I did the paperback, people said to me, "You need to do an audiobook." And I'm like, "How do you do an audiobook? I don't know how to do it." About 2 weeks later, I get an email out of nowhere from this huge company, Tantor Media, the biggest in audiobooks. And they said to me, "We saw your paperback and we love it. By any chance, are the audio rights available?" And I said, "Yes." And I said, "Is there any chance that I can read it?" Because usually they hire people to read
Yeah,
the
yeah,
book.
that's why I asked.
Great move, though.
And they said to me, "Send us a file of your voice. Just read your book into your phone and send us the file." I read about 15 pages into it. I sent them the file, and they came back and they said, "We really like the way you sound. We're going to arrange for you to do the book in our studio in Manhattan."
Huh.
Wow.
The studio happens to be right across town from where I live. I could walk to it, right?
Wow.
So I go to the studio. They left me 4 days of studio time. I did it in 1 day and 40 minutes.
Wow.
They said, "We've never seen anybody do a book that fast," because it just flowed. It was like it was meant to be.
This is your superpower.
Yeah, your superpower.
It was crazy. It was my book.
To them Z
I had the feeling for it, and I didn't make any mistakes when I read. And as you can see, I no longer stutter.
Yeah. And Jay said it was the Z-Packs, man. It gave you that power.
It was the Z-Packs,
Yep.
man.
It was everything.
It was just amazing.
So-
but it comes out of the universe sometimes.
How do you get ready to do something like that? Did you have to eat a lot of bagels with cream cheese to get your voice warmed up?
Well, it's so funny because my voice sounds hoarse to me now. When I speak for a while like this, I can feel it. But usually my voice is not like that, and they liked it. And I just went in there. It was my first time ever that I did an audio book.
It's kind of your growly Batman voice.
Yeah,
That's
but it was
what
really, I'll tell you, it was really exciting to sit in this booth, and there's an engineer across from me, and she hardly ever had to stop me. I did about 190 pages on the first day.
It's awesome.
And people were like amazed. They're like, "How do you do that?" I'm like, "I don't know. It just happened." So I went in the second day, and then a few weeks later, when they edited it, they had to have me come in for like 15 minutes to just clear up a couple of things that weren't as clear as they would like.
Yeah.
And I wound up with an audio book, and so it's amazing to me. I wouldn't know how to do it again unless the same company wanted me to do it.
Yeah.
It's a complicated process. If you wanted to do your own audio book, you'd have to hire a studio and engineers, and it just came to me. It was amazing.
Wow.
Absolutely amazing.
That's awesome.
It just shows like if your intention is strong, if you put out a strong message from your heart to the universe,
Yeah.
it hears you. It's like you can draw things into your life. And I'm fascinated by that.
All right. Well, how can people find you on the interwebs if they want to?
So if they want to come to my website, it's comedymatterstv.com.
Mm-hmm.
They want to go to my YouTube channel and check out a lot of these fun videos. It's youtube.com/comedymatterstv. And you'll see everybody, all the comedians that you love are on there. I can't even start naming them. But it would be easier to name who wasn't on there.
Jeffrey, I thought you lost your YouTube channel or something. Or am I or did you get a new one? Or am I mistaken?
No, it got hijacked by somebody in Russia.
That's what I thought, but I didn't know you got it back. Or is this a new one?
It was a miracle. No, I got it back. I had
Wow.
That's a whole nother story for another day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
know, and the
I was
bad
able
thing
to contact
is,
an executive at YouTube, and they worked for a month
oh wow,
to get it back from Russia. I stupidly opened an email. I should know better.
wow,
But it looked like an official YouTube email that said some of my videos were being investigated as spam, and it didn't make sense
wow.
to me because I never had anything like that. And I
Gotcha.
opened it, but the underlying email was .ru from Russia, and already it was too late. As soon as I opened it, nothing was there, but it gave them the opportunity to get my information, and they stole it. And I thought I had lost control of everything, but it's back.
That's
so,
good.
So people can see it. And on Instagram and Twitter, I'm at Jeffrey Gurian, Gurian. So if people want to follow me, that would be really cool.
Yeah, check him out. Make him a household name for us, folks.
Yeah,
this
exactly. I mean, it's bullshit that more people don't know about you.
Well, I knew that I would eventually get to Ohio in one way or another.
Yeah.
I was supposed to come and perform with Chris.
Yes.
And hopefully that'll happen.
We're going to get there one day, sir.
At least this is a first step that people in Ohio will hear about me.
Chris actually had a couple questions for you before we take off and go on break.
Sure, go ahead, Chris.
So let's do this real quick.
I'll just keep it short and sweet and stuff. So actually, I was just going to ask about, you have your finger on the pulse of comedy, especially in Manhattan there and such. Where, if you were to visit from the Midwest and go to New York City, where's the hip place where you're going to see what's happening in comedy, the future of comedy? What do you think, man?
Well, right now, obviously there's nothing happening. I just
yeah, true that. Yeah.
In a perfect world, we'll say, in a perfect world.
and you know what, too? And who knows what's going to happen? Like, I recently did the Comedy Cellar podcast. So, Noam Dworman owns the Comedy Cellar.
The Mecca.
They have about 4 places on McDougal Street. The whole area is Comedy Cellar, and then there's the Grizzly Pear. And Noam said to me, if I said to you I was opening on June 1st, what would it take for you to come back to the clubs? And I was like, well, I'll have to see what the statistics were like on May 27th, because people are not rushing to sit close to each other. It's a scary thing. But in general, in a perfect world, when we're all back, the hottest clubs, of course, the Cellar, Gotham Comedy Club, the Comic Strip, New York Comedy Club, there are 2 of them. They get the best talent, young, up-and-coming talent, but a lot of stars drop by. New York is the Mecca. All the LA comics come to New York because there are so many stages here. What Kenny Warren and Gabe Dorado did at the Grizzly Pear is amazing. They actually created a real comedy club out of just an old bar show that nobody went to. Places packed all the time. People want to perform there now. They made an amazing transformation. So there are so many stages in New York, plus all the alternative shows, that anybody who came from New York, from out of town, would not find it hard to find great shows. But all the clubs that I mentioned, they all have amazing shows going on all the time. West Side Comedy Club, the newest comedy club in New York. I don't know if you've been there, Chris. But
not
it's
to the West Side, not yet.
On 70th and Amsterdam. Beautiful club with a great stage, and they serve food. They have a restaurant in the club because it's downstairs from a restaurant. The owners also own this other restaurant, and they serve food during the show, and it's fantastic. New York is the Mecca right now for comedy. As I said, all the LA comics come here because there's much more opportunity for stage time than there is in Los Angeles. And there's thousands and thousands of comedians. Yeah. Everyone who ever thought of something funny
wants the stage time. Yeah. Yes, they do.
Didn't Ray Romano do something at the Cellar?
Yes, at the Cellar. Yep.
Ray Romano. I bumped into Ray Romano walking out of the Cellar one night.
I mean, that's where he started.
Yeah. That's where I bumped into Ray.
It's an iconic place. It's where I shot an episode of Crashing.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Come down and shoot an episode there, and that's where they do it because it's the epicenter.
And Chris, did you have another question for him?
Oh, you know what? It's going long, but I'll keep it kind of short. Hey, kind of speaking posthumously, who are a comedian from in the city that you know, never really had the chance to go as far as they could have. Like, you know, for me, I always thought Mitch Hedberg was the guy just kind of cut short in his career and stuff. But, you know, who was it from New York you think that might have been cut short with their opportunity?
Most people.
Most people.
Yeah.
Isn't that true? You know, some of the best comedians never really make it, don't you think?
Yeah, of course. There's so much luck involved, and especially now there's so much competition. And, you know, years ago, if you did the Tonight Show and Johnny Carson asked you to take a seat on the couch,
right,
the next day you probably had a sitcom.
Yeah.
These days, almost every comic does late night TV. And it's just another thing on their resume. You know, it's not.
It doesn't change their life.
The business has changed so much. It's not the way it used to be. There's just too many comedians. Every city across the country has comedy clubs, and there are names you never heard of, and some of them are probably really funny. And the only one that'll know will be their family. You know what I mean? It's like,
the people sitting in those seats at night. You know, I
thought in every room of your apartment.
Right. You know, Jeffrey, I thought you might have mentioned Patrice O'Neill, because somebody that was just before my time when I started to come to start comedy and before I came to New York, and a lot of talk. And as I looked in to his comedic styles, I saw something there that I thought, yeah, wow, what an opportunity that was lost and stuff. Did you ever have an opportunity to work with him? Yeah,
I was his co-host on the Black Phillip Show. It was Dante Nero was his first co-host, and then he invited me on, and our shows are still on. Do you know that I get emails constantly from guys who still listen to the Black Phillip Show who tell me that they're fans? I went to Japan in October because I challenged myself to do everything that scares me, that makes me uncomfortable, and I went to Japan alone, and I wound up doing a couple of shows there. And after the show, a Japanese guy came over to me and said he was so excited because he was a fan of mine for the Black Phillip Show.
Wow.
I have one fan in Japan. I couldn't believe it.
One. Hey, that's...
But wherever I go, I went to Boston. Two guys came over to me in a hotel, big fans of the Black Phillip Show. Patrice O'Neill is still loved. You know, we did that show in 2008.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so it's 12 years later, and people are still writing to me saying it was a life change. It literally changed their life with the advice they gave men about how to treat women and how to meet women and all that stuff. It was an incredible thing. It was one of my greatest honors, was to be liked and accepted by Patrice. We had a very special relationship. We never made fun of each other. You know how a lot of guys think you have to be a man by busting balls, by making fun of your friends.
Yeah, that's me right here.
Well, I don't do that. Personally, I reject that. That to me is like a form of bullying. I embrace my friends. I want to support them and strengthen them. I don't want to put them down. And I know people do it for fun, but like when I did Bobby Kelly's podcast, a lot of times those guys bust their balls. They didn't do it with me. And Bobby said, I wouldn't do that with you. Yeah, because it's not something that I do. Gotcha. I don't like it. So Patrice and I, we never did that with each other, because anybody that ever went up against him got crushed. Nobody could stand up to Patrice.
Yeah.
But when we would see each other, we would hug. And I used to say to him, when we go out on stage, you should come out holding me in your arms. because he was such a, he was just an incredible guy. And of course, his life was cut short, and that was horrible. But he never pandered to the business. He never did what people wanted him to do. He could have been much bigger, but he stuck to what he liked doing. He never let anybody tell him. And I have a phone call from him that I'll play you another time.
Okay.
But I keep it on my phone. The first night we did the Black Phillip Show together, he called me at 4:05 in the morning to tell me how much he loved the show and that we should do our own show together, just the two of us.
Oh,
and because
awesome.
It's something that I treasure, and there's a documentary being done on Patrice.
Ooh, I didn't know this.
Bill Burr's company
Nice.
is producing it.
Yeah.
And they came to my house to see all of my Patrice memorabilia, because I have rare footage.
Yeah.
He used to let me bring my camera up to the studio, and he never let people do that, but he let me film that stuff. And they're using it in the documentary.
Oh.
So I'm glad you brought that up because it
Yeah.
gives me a chance to show some respect for my
For
old
sure.
friend Patrice. And it was a wonderful thing for me. As I said, it was one of my greatest honors was to be his co-host on that show.
Hey,
Jeffrey,
Ashley,
glad I
was
could
there
do that
any
for the both
type of comments or anything?
Any type of comments from who?
The listeners. They can chat with us.
Let's see here.
Oh, today. Oh, I thought you meant when Patrice and I were doing the show. Oh.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Larry said this probably is the realest shit I've heard all year.
Okay.
The entire interview from Saturday Night Live days to Corona, great stuff.
Yeah. I mean, and you know, usually our interviews are roughly around 20 minutes, but honestly, I couldn't stop you. Like, I wanted to hear more of your story, and I wanted you to actually take the time to do. I mean, you're taking the time out to be on our show, which I'm eternally grateful for. But I really enjoyed listening to your stories.
Thank you. I got up at 8:30 this morning on a Sunday to be ready for you guys because it takes me a while to get ready. I don't just get up early for anybody on a Sunday, especially. But everything, you know what? Anytime someone asks you to be on anything, I consider it an honor. It's like when someone takes a book, they buy a book and they ask you to autograph it. I write something different to everybody, something meaningful, because it really means something when someone asks you to be part of their life in some way. So that's how I feel. When people invite me to do a show, I take it very seriously. I don't care if it's the Tonight Show or a local show.
Mm-hmm.
I treat them all the same. So I just want you to know that it was important to me, and I got up at 8:30 this morning.
Well, we really appreciate it. I mean, you're an awesome guy. I'm glad you recovered.
Glad to have you back.
Yeah, we're really glad to have you back, and you're actually going to be doing some stuff with Connor. I don't know if he reached out to you yesterday. Did he?
He did. He sent me my he sent me my Zoom link about 2 hours ago just to make sure. Which is good.
He's really excited. We were all very excited, and we want to take the time out just to say thank you and that we appreciate you being on the show.
You're very, very welcome, and I hope to someday, when all this insanity is over, to come out to Ohio and meet you guys in person.
That would be great. That would be awesome.
Very cool.
But we're gonna take a break. When we get back, we're gonna talk about the Corona-pocolypse.
Oh.
Yes. We're going to talk about some spikes in the drug overdoses as Ohio reopens. And a 103-year-old woman beats the coronavirus and celebrates with a beer. We're going to have crazy news. And then a YouTuber places her adopted son with a new family. There's more details into that, but we'll get into that a little later here on the Epic Radio Show. Stay tuned.
You're listening to The Epic Radio Show, live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and theepicradioshow.com. Listen to us anytime on the iHeartRadio app. Download today on the App Store or Google Play, and take this show on the road. The Epic Radio Show. Make life epic.
Make life epic.
Attention small business owners. Are you trying to reach thousands of engaging customers, but radio and television ads are out of your budget? Advertise with us here at Brain Baby Media. We offer low monthly payments with no contracts, no hassle, and you can cancel anytime. But why would you? With our ads on multiple platforms like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, your brand will reach new heights, and guess what? It's a business expense. That means you can write it off at the end of the year. So contact Epic today at theepicradioshow.com and make your business epic.
Hey ladies, if you're looking for premium makeup at a price that can't be beat, hit up Glitz and Glitter by Goldie. Glitz and Glitter by Goldie has everything you need to enhance your beauty without breaking the bank. Go to uniqueproducts.com/GoldieAlphaHell today and take advantage of the savings. Right now, there's a new beauty box for only $99, so what are you waiting for? Get to Glitz and Glitter by Goldie today at Unique, that's YOUNIQUE QUEproducts.com/GoldieAlphaHealth.
Want to feel like you're part of the show? Get your official The Epic Radio Show merch right now. We have unisex tees, hoodies, mugs, winter hats, baby onesies, and much more. Check it out at www.etsy.com/shop/The Epic Radio Show. Official unisex tees are only $12 and get free shipping on orders over $35. Yup, that's right, you heard me. That's free shipping on orders over $35. The holidays are over, but you can still treat yourself to some great official merch for The Epic Radio Show. So hurry now to the site and get some epic gear for the new year and make 2020 epic.
Here we
There's
go.
a patient
We're back.
next to him in there, so yeah, it was tough.
Yeah. Anyways, like I was saying, that ran a little over, but it was a great story, and I didn't want to cut him short. But he will be on Beyond Epic. So if you wanted to know a little bit more about what he's doing, all you have to do is join us on Patreon. Patreon.com/The Epic Radio Show. Donate just $5 a month, and you will be allowed to check out this bonus content. The next thing we're getting into is the Corona-pocolypse.
Apocalypse.
Yeah. So the coronavirus, day 2336.
Star Trek log.
Yes. Star Trek log, yes. There's a few things going on. Obviously they've lifted. I keep wanting to say listed.
They've listed us.
Yeah, they've listed us.
Is that the
but-
alternate to Uber?
Maybe.
Ubered us?
Yeah.
Probably.
They
Whatever.
Ubered us?
No, Lyft is the alternate.
Lyft,
Yeah.
Lyft is the alternate.
Which is
to
a
Uber,
word I wanted to
which
say.
is funny.
But they've lifted quite a bit of the restrictions in
Yeah.
Ohio. And since then, it seems that Cuyahoga County has seen a spike in opiate overdoses, like almost immediately. During the months we were under restriction, it was practically zero.
Yep.
Once they released, like, kind of eased the restrictions, it jumped up to 38 ODs.
I don't get that though.
Dude, if you lived with some of these people, you'd be doing the heroin too, man.
No, but I don't get how
outta here.
it just went away from.
They weren't able to get it. I mean, no, everyone was quarantined. It was a stay at home.
They
People were
quarantined-
scared.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
don't know, man. I don't know.
You don't know.
How you don't trust facts?
No, I do, but I just don't see.
It was
I mean, I
18
don't know.
cases though, not 36.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, I don't think people stop doing drugs. Just
No,
Well, no, that's
opioids. That's not what we
yeah.
said. I'm specifically saying opioids.
Okay.
That'd be great if all we had to do
drug
was
overdoses
quarantine
were
people
still happening,
to stop
Yeah.
drugs
but
in
nobody
general.
was taking. Well, I wouldn't say taking
couldn't get the
opioids, but
sugar.
they were-
Overdosing.
But they
Yeah.
weren't able
There
to
was
get the
no
opioids
smack
to.
out there, man. The horse.
Well,
had
think
left.
about this too. Okay,
Shut up, Chris.
so doctors weren't seeing people, and other than and honestly, that's how people are getting opioids. In some
Yeah.
way or form, is
Oh,
coming
yeah.
from doctors.
You mean I don't need to see that man on the corner of
No,
Prospect
Chris.
anymore?
Well, where do you think
I
they
can
get
just
it
go to
from?
my doctor. Is he
I
have,
mean,
like that brown
yeah.
sticky stuff?
Where do you think they get it from? It's a prescription medicine. So in order to get the medicine, you have to
Yeah.
have a prescription, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Whether you're going to sell it on the streets or not, it has to come from there.
Yeah.
So if they're not able to get a hold of a prescription either to sell or to take themselves,
Yeah. Well, most people that have prescriptions, a lot of them they just get it called in. though. That's what my dad did. But
Well,
Your
I
dad's
get that, but
selling the
opioids are a
pills,
little
man.
different too. They don't,
Yeah.
they won't just give you opioids over the phone to call in a prescription, unless you have refills on it, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean,
what
yeah,
I'm
that's
But
saying.
they
one
don't
thing.
usually do refills on opioids anymore.
Well,
Usually,
unless you're there. Well, there's a difference. There's people that are on them every month that get them
yeah.
every month, and then there's people that go in and try to get them.
Or shopping.
Yeah, shopping.
Well, let's
shopping.
just say that I would say that most people that had them weren't selling them.
They're like, no.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or they were conserving them, so they
Yeah.
weren't taking as much as they
Well,
would have.
and
You know,
isn't most of what's on the street though, like the illegal prescription stuff, is like the made in China stuff? It never goes through a doctor or a pharmacist and stuff. So that's smuggled in. That's the problem, isn't it? Is that they bring the illegal Chinese or South American?
no,
Yeah, I don't know
opioids.
anything about
no, that's not usually how that works. No.
Really? So I
Yeah.
can just go straight to the doctor. I don't have to buy.
Usually,
the
I mean,
cheap
you
stuff
have to
off
have
the
a
street.
reason, but see
Yeah.
what's happening is a lot of times how this happens is get into a car crash, and you're prescribed this, and then you get hooked on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then
Then
that's
you
kind of
continue
like
to-
how
So then
that.
what happens when they take you off that?
Then
and
you
they
find
don't-
other ways to do that, and
So
If
that's when
that's-
you get
yeah.
the fake Chinese stuff off the street. man.
Well,
Right?
Chris, I feel like you would know more about this than we would
Yeah.
because
Yeah, that's the problem with the
Yeah.
opioid problem. You see what
I've
I mean?
never.
Is that
Yeah.
once they cut the
any of
legitimate
this issues.
supply, is that there's this whole thing where they bring the. That's how the fentanyl.
Well, and
or
maybe
what is it,
that's-
the fentanyl
Fentanyl.
got introduced because that was coming from the Southeast Asian counterfeit pills that they were bringing in illegally and selling on
Yeah,
the streets.
Well,
people
another-
can actually order that shit online.
Yeah, you can order it
Yeah.
online. From
yeah.
whatever
Well,
country you
even
go.
when the
Yeah.
restrictions were going
Well,
on,
yeah,
do you
the
think they were
borders
getting
were
stuff
closed,
from China?
No.
You see what I'm
yeah,
saying?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
Like
shipping's shut
restrictions
down.
lifted, that means that more things were coming in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I mean, I think it explains a little bit.
Yeah, I get a
Yeah,
brown
the
package from
borders were
Amsterdam every
closed.
now and then. It's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
In other news.
Yeah. So, anyways, getting back to
No.
more stuffs.
Oh,
More
no.
things.
This is a little bit of a higher note. though.
This is a happy thing. This is a good
Oh
thing.
no.
Yes.
Not a happy thing, but a good thing. Like on a positive end here.
So this 103-year-old great grandmother beats coronavirus and asks for a beer to celebrate.
Oh, it is positive.
Yeah.
I'm
See?
shocked.
Then why did you
Uh,
think? Where did you think I was going
yeah.
with
We
this?
have something that's like celebratory here.
Jenny's stage no. I don't know if that's right.
But you
but-
try. That's all that
yes.
matters.
I would say maybe the J silent Stana. That makes
That makes more
Is
sense.
she Latino then?
I'm not
Is
sure.
that what you're saying?
not
Are you
sure. We're
joking?
not looking
Can't
into this.
tell. But anyways, she spent 2 weeks in isolation in her Massachusetts nursing home, battling COVID-19. Her granddaughter, Shelley Gunn, told reporters when the 103-year-old woman recovered, she asked her caretakers for one thing: a Bud Light.
Yeah.
I'm sure Bud's jumping all over this.
It's a commercial.
Like,
Yeah.
woo!
Super
I mean,
Bowl commercial.
Yeah, they don't give a shit.
We'll exploit it.
Yeah.
Even after she's dead.
Yeah.
We'll still be-
This is what that lady wanted.
Yes. Staff at the nursing home obliged
They're like, all right, sure.
her request and took a photo of her enjoying the beer, which has gone viral. In an interview with local publication Wicked Local, Gunn described her grandmother as someone who's always had that feisty fighting spirit.
And a thirst for a good cold beer.
Yes.
That's right.
And you know they make their beer with only 3 ingredients.
One of them being piss.
She has 2 children, 3 grandchildren, 4 great-grandchildren, and 3 great-great-grandchildren.
Woo!
Yes.
Yes. You go, lady.
That's
right.
worthy
Family
right there.
said their final goodbyes to the great-grandmother, and when asked if she was ready to go to heaven, she said, "Hell yes."
Bring it on!
But against
boys!
all odds, she beat the deadly virus.
That's right.
Which disproportionately affects the elderly.
Mm-hmm.
On May 13th, Gunn received news that her grandmother had recovered.
Yay.
That's when she asked for a Bud Light to celebrate, something
This is
she
really
loved
great.
but hadn't had in a very long time.
She should be drinking the Mick Ultra. It has lower carbs.
Yes.
Okay, that's the
You gotta
whole...
watch your
She
figure,
don't give
Grandma.
a fuck.
on.
She don't give a fuck. She just beat Corona. She
Yeah.
don't give a fuck. Let her live her life.
Hey, you see, she didn't grab a
She
Corona
looks
though.
like she needs some carbs anyways.
She's like, I don't give a fuck. She's just living her life. Let her live her life.
That's
Yeah.
right. That grandma
There's
girl.
also talks of
Mhm.
another stimulus package. I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not, but it looks it's
It's
looking like
possible. It's up in the air.
The government is probably going to have to give out money to replace a lot of cop cars, so I don't think anybody's getting any money, man. Buildings and cop cars are going to be
Yeah,
funded by the
it's-
government, to be replaced.
it is.
Whew.
That's sad.
Are you ready for crazy news?
I guess so. Sure.
All right, so we're gonna do crazy news,
So
guys.
we're gonna do crazy
Let me do
news.
something real quick.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, and it was funny too, cause I forgot to put it in studio mode when I was changing stuff around when we were talking to Jeffrey to
Oh,
begin
so
with.
yeah,
So you saw me kind of messing
messing with
the
the
video,
screen and stuff.
and then I didn't catch it till we were about to come
Like,
on.
well,
I'm
oh
like,
well.
whatever.
I don't even care.
Whatever.
Just let it happen.
It happened. I can't. I'm not gonna try and cover
You're
that up.
one man making the whole world go round here.
Ah, I
Epic,
swear.
man. One
Yep.
man.
I got
The
it.
rest of us is just knobs here. We just sit here.
Yep, pretty
That's
much.
it. Pretty much,
Yeah.
man.
I just fucking
Just-
knock things over
Just
and press wrong buttons.
Refill
and
coffee.
Refill coffees.
Which
bake
I did not
things.
get any coffee.
Yeah, I didn't make
today.
coffee today.
Oh.
I didn't make any coffee
Yeah.
this morning.
But it's time for crazy news. So
I would have made it, but whatever.
I just forgot.
I'm
I
just,
was
I'm
doing
just
other
putting it out
stuff,
there. I'm
yeah.
not like just, oh, I didn't fucking do it. Fuck you. It was just a, I didn't ask, so I didn't care.
Yeah.
So a kitten was born with 2 faces in Oregon. Yay, kitty with 2 faces. That's more kitty to love. That's it.
Do you know what he sounds like? Meow, meow.
Meow, meow.
Or like 2 cats going at it.
Meow, meow,
And we have a sound effect.
We
I'm
do,
sure.
but they're doing really good with the sound effects, so why should I? Why should I do the kitty sound effects when they're doing
Yeah.
it for me?
Jay and Chris, the meow knobs.
You guys are the meow knobs.
That's it,
That's what you guys do.
That's how we go, dude.
That's just how you do it. There you go, kitty. It was so cute too.
He's so
That was
cute.
that was the cutest kitty noise ever. Okay. So a family welcomed an unusual arrival when their barn cat gave birth to a kitten with 2 faces on a single head.
Mm.
Crazy. That's why it's here. Kyla King, whose family lives on a farm east of Albany, said the 1-year-old barn cat gave birth to a litter of 6 kittens Wednesday. And she soon realized the runt of the litter had 2 mouths, 2 noses, and 4 eyes. Oh shit, that's cray. Like, that is cray. Why are you guys talking? I can hear you. You're trying to be sly and shit, but this isn't working out. Like, it's not. Okay, so you guys are trying to be all sly, but we heard stuff. But anyways, the Kings dubbed the kitten Biscuits and Gravy. That's so cute. That's so cute. Or Biscuit for short. Salt and pepper. The new arrival's rare condition is believed to be caused by a birth defect known as diprosopis, I don't think that's right, or craniofacial duplication. That was a lot easier to say. I think it's actually a longer word.
It looks cute but ugly at the same time.
Why are you like so like muted? Is the mic like turned off or something?
I don't know.
Did he turn off his mic?
I don't know. He might have.
This is a weird, crazy news moment.
It's crazy.
It's
like,
crazy,
Double
like-
secret
Like,
crazy.
what's going on
It's all
here?
good. I can talk into this mic. I said the cat's kind of cute but kind of ugly at the same time.
Oh.
I'm not even going to touch that one.
Well, what do you think of the two-faced kitty, Chris? What the hell?
What? There's nothing wrong with a two-faced kitty. Two-faced
He's
kitties
cute.
need love
He's
just
still
like any
cute.
other kitty,
That's
man. You
right.
know?
I guess,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah. Felines with the condition are commonly known as Janus cats. Janus, I don't know if that's right either. After the ancient Roman god often depicted with two faces. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, because that's what I do. King said, biscuits and gravy and or just biscuit for short. I guess that was something they call this two-faced kitty. Was rejected by the mother cat, unfortunately. So, that's sad. So she had been hand-rearing and feeding the kitten.
She knows a monster when she sees
Okay, your mic. Your mic.
Quasimodo.
Yeah,
Are
that
you-
was dumb.
okay,
But
that's what I was
anyways, what I said, I said even she knows a monster when she
That's
sees one.
terrible. It's
Yes.
such a cute kitty.
Yeah,
It's cute.
it looks like a villain.
No, it doesn't.
Like
God.
it's gonna grow up and Batman.
I feel like we watched a movie with a two-headed
That's terrible.
thing like that.
I don't know.
So these cats don't live for more than a few days usually, but have been known to survive for years if their internal organs aren't dramatically altered by the condition.
Mhm.
Nothing is said so much about how long, if this cat is still alive currently, because it is the end of May and this kitten was born mid-May. So I'm not really sure if this cat
Did
has
they
made
name
it. Yes, biscuits and gravy. But biscuit for short.
Okay.
That's so cute. I hate you. It's so cute. Oh my god. It's such a cute kitty. I would adopt this kitty. I'd love this kitty. This would be my best friend. The best kitty friend.
It would be perfect.
It would be.
Perfect.
It would be. It would be. I know what you were going for there, but it would be perfect because I love this kitty forever.
Perfect.
Okay, I'm
I
going
can't
to.
do that.
Yeah,
I
you
can't do
can't
the-
do the rolling
yeah.
R's. You can't. If the camera wasn't on me, I'd probably do it, but I'm
Yeah.
not doing it. So, going to the next story. The kitty was cute, but I'm going on to the next story. Pair hired for man's broom sexual fantasy turn up in bedroom at wrong address with machetes.
What?
Yeah.
This-
That's not even. I don't even.
Yeah, you don't.
How
I
do you
didn't
follow
understand.
that?
I didn't
Yeah.
understand what I read either, so I'm gonna get more into this. Two men snuck into a bedroom with machetes after being hired to carry out a stranger's sexual fantasy of being tied up in his underwear and stroked with a broom.
Nice.
Oh.
The stroking of the broom. Yes.
Yeah. Only to discover they had got the wrong address. So.
That's a rude awakening.
Yeah. So the pair from Sydney, Australia made their apologies and left the startled victim's bedside as soon as they realized their mistake. One of the men, Terrence Leroy, has now been acquitted of entering the home in July 2019 because all this stuff happened to get here.
Yeah.
Intended to intimidate while armed with an offensive weapon after the New South Wales District Court accepted his explanation.
Wow.
Conceding the facts of the case are unusual, Judge Sean Grant set out his reasons for the not guilty verdict, saying the evidence did not suggest the men's actions were intentional. They carried the machetes either as a prop or something to use in that fantasy. The fantasy was unscripted and there were discretion as to how it would be carried out. According,
So how did he have proof?
I'm seeing if there's more to this because it's pretty lengthy. So
Because obviously,
I'm gonna
if
read
there's a not guilty verdict, there was proof that this happened, that he wasn't being a creeper with a machete next to the bed.
maybe
you
he
know?
was though. I don't know.
Climbing through a bedroom window, right?
So
It's just
according to court
odd.
documents, a man living in western New South Wales near Griffith wanted a broom handle to be rubbed around his underwear.
Mhm.
Okay, he was willing to pay $5,000 if it was really good.
Oh snap!
Court documents also said.
So, what kind of broom
Where's
was this?
this guy
A
at?
wooden
I'll do
broom?
this.
A whip.
I'm assuming. I don't know.
Wooden broom?
I don't have.
or
I
like
mean, there might
Family
be
Dollar
details,
broom?
but you keep interrupting me,
You
so I
know?
don't know.
Where the tip kind of falls off after a
What does
while.
he mean in your broomstick?
Police said the intended client had history for engaging the services of people.
Nice.
The services of people. Okay. He had made arrangements with a man on Facebook for people to engage in the role play and sent his address before he later updated it after moving house more than 30 miles away.
Huh.
But the resident of the home where the man mistakenly turned up told police that when he noticed a light on in his lounge at around 6:15 a.m., he assumed it was a friend who visits daily to make coffee. What? That's weird. You come to my house around 6 in the morning
the window
to
also.
make coffee. He
With a
also climbs
machete
through
and
the
a
window,
broom.
but without a machete. Though.
I
He just
like
has
the
a broom.
name of the guy. What was the name of the guy again?
Where the fuck is his name? It's all the way up here. I'd have to scroll
And
all the way
he
up.
sounds like that sounds like a porn star's name,
Oh god. Where was I?
but
at?
like a 70s porn star name, where like he'd have a fro in both places.
Oh my god, what's wrong with you?
With his stash.
Oh, okay. So after hearing a voice asking, "Is your name Kevin?" the man said he turned his light on to see two men he did not recognize standing next to his bed, both holding machetes.
With boners.
Probably. Conversation then ensued,
He's like, I got enough wood here for a broomstick.
in which the pair repeatedly sought to establish whether he was Kevin, each time being told no. At one point, one of them asked, "Are you sure you're not Kevin, as we were told to come to this address and pick up Kevin?" Eventually accepting their error, the duo then left, with one saying, "Sorry, mate." Then said, "Bye."
Have a nice day.
Shaking
Sorry,
the other
Mike.
one shook his hand and said, "Bye." The
Oh,
resident
God.
then called the police, of course, because
Yeah.
what the hell? The intended client called the men soon after to check on their whereabouts, at which point they realized their error. The two men and their driver eventually arrived at the correct address where the would-be customer spotted one had a great big knife in his trousers.
Oh my god.
Is that a knife in your trousers, or are you happy to see me?
Oh my god! Like this is good. It just gets better
What
and
was
better.
the name though? You didn't.
Because it's way at the top. I'm not scrolling through that shit. I'm
His name
reading a
was
story.
Brad Rainbow.
Don't fuck me up. I'm reading a story.
Brad.
Sorry that I can't remember and you can't remember, but I'm reading. So,
I'll find it.
the customer told him not to bring the weapon inside, and he left it in the car. Court documents say all three men then entered the correct property. The client began cooking bacon, eggs, and noodles.
You can't make this shit up.
You can't. I'm just reading this like, wait, what? Noodles? After
Wait a second. Do those food items again.
the client began cooking bacon, eggs, and noodles.
Now, what's wrong with
Terrence
this?
Leroy.
Terrence Leroy.
What's wrong with that picture there? You know? Eggs, bacon, and noodles?
And
Where
noodles.
does the noodles fit into this?
The noodles.
picture? I mean, I don't
They
think
just had to noodle it around.
What? Okay.
They're just noodling around.
Yeah,
I think this the kink is gonna go a little bit kinkier here.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah,
There's some carbs involved.
It goes on for a minute. So
Okay.
Yeah.
let's see.
Let's see.
So where was I at? The client began cooking bacon, eggs, and noodles
Yeah.
after
Making me
being
hungry.
asked to do so by Leroy, who then fell asleep on the couch. Police arrived at the property around an hour later and arrested Leroy and the other man who had appeared in the incorrect bedroom.
I like how you
And
like
his name, I was gonna say
Go ahead.
before, his name's Leroy.
Terrence, like what?
Terrence Leroy.
Terrence Leroy.
I was gonna say when you first said it, I know someone named Terrence Leroy.
Maybe it
Well,
was him,
I'm
Mike.
not
Maybe it was him.
surprised. Does he eat noodles with his bacon and eggs?
Right? Does he
Probably.
Like, who the fuck has noodles with bacon and eggs?
That's why
Yeah.
they came in and arrested him right there.
Like
man.
that's not
Yeah,
even
that's a-
normal.
that's a
This
violation.
is fucked
Just-
up.
That's the crazy.
He's making a
crazy.
breakfast.
That's-
He's
that's
making a
the crazy
breakfast.
I
part of
know.
this story
You can't
right
have
here.
breakfast without biscuits and gravy.
He's having a.
Biscuits and the gravy.
He's having a breakfast break.
From
Call back.
just the last fucking, story.
Brilliant.
So, there's only 2 sentences left, so here, let me read them.
Okay.
The judge said it had not been proved that Leroy's intention had been to intimidate. Leroy's lawyer said it was a commercial agreement to tie up and stroke a semi-naked man in his underwear with a broom. Entry was not with intent to intimidate. That is the end of that story.
Okay, that's pretty
So
insane.
that
Wow.
and the worst part of that story, the most crazy part is the noodles thing. That's actually the most
I
crazy
know
part.
it is.
It is,
really
yeah. Not the
It's like,
fact
wait
that
a
he was
second, wait a
trying to
second.
stroke
So
this guy.
what did they have with their bacon and eggs?
Yeah,
What did you say?
I mean, we're
Noodle
all
soup?
familiar
Noodle
with
soup?
guys being stroked by broomsticks.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
not- that's
I mean, there's
normal.
Yeah.
nothing,
But
you
the
know,
other stuff, the noodles thing, really
noodles
had me
with
messed up.
bacon and eggs.
Like, who does that? They
Cats
deserve to
and
be arrested.
dogs.
They deserve to be arrested.
Yes.
All right, so the next one's it's still in the realm of this kind of weird thing we're going with.
Is there
So
a breakfast theme with this?
no, there could be more into the details. I'm not sure yet. Man with shoe fetish sold 126 flip flops so he could have sex with them.
What?
So you can have sex with who?
The flip flops.
That's
Yeah.
Okay.
weird.
Okay,
Yes.
Chris, do you understand now? He's having sex with them.
I can't even
The
get
flippin'
the
floppies.
image.
He likes them flip
his
flops.
sweat
I wonder-
trunks and his
Wang
flippy
with it, or
floppies.
what, you know?
I'm just saying, like, would he buy my flip flops? Would he pay for them? Like, I don't
I
know.
don't know what's going on with that.
I
Where's he
wear
sticking it?
flip-flops.
Were
okay.
they used? Are they new?
That's what I'm saying. Are you
Let's
looking
find
for
out.
used ones? Or
Let's find out what's going on here,
A
Ashley.
man has been arrested for allegedly stealing his neighbor's shoes in order to have sex with them.
What?
I cannot pronounce this guy's name.
Oh, you got to try.
Thirapet Kalaya? I don't know.
That's good enough.
He's 24.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Had a fetish for flip-flops and was found with a staggering 126 pairs that he had pinched from locals. So that's what it says. I'm reading what it says. So
Insane. Yeah.
officers identified him using footage from CCTV set up outside his latest alleged victim's home.
Mm,
So they just buying more flip-flops to catch him? Like,
I guess.
Oh,
I mean,
I'm just gonna
shit,
They
say-
did
Well-
like that. They did like the package people do. They planted a package.
like
Yeah.
Planet
look at my
flip-flops.
flip-flop. Make him look
pirates.
used, you know,
Yep.
so the guy
Yep.
wants to take him faster, you know. When they searched the man's home, they found his sprawling collection of shoes that he claimed he had been collecting for more than 2 years. He said he would wear them around his home as it turned him on. He allegedly told officers that after several hours of wearing the flip-flops, he cuddled and kissed them, stripping off and rubbing them on his body before having sex with them.
This guy's, I cannot
Is what this
believe
says.
what I'm hearing here. This guy is wearing flip-flops in his house? He's
I
walking
know.
around his own house in flip-flops and footwear?
Yeah.
Goodness, that's just crazy.
Now, is he wearing socks with these flip
That
flops?
was
It doesn't say.
crazy,
It
wouldn't
doesn't
it?
say.
If he was one of those people.
He was one of
Yeah,
those people.
One of those
Mm.
people.
The noodles and the bacon and eggs and the
And
socks and the flip-flop
Socks,
people.
They all
Biscuits and
kinda-
gravy.
They're
Yep, there's
all,
a
all in the same fucking category, if you
common
ask
thread.
me.
You got it, Ashley.
So well, let's see. Police said his collection included dozens of different brands, sizes, and colors of shoes, all of them well worn. The vast array of footwear was laid
they
out
were well worn.
was laid out in
by
front
his
of the
Big
police
sloppy
station
flip-flops.
as part of a press conference on Monday. I'm seeing like the video that shows all these flip flops, and it's bananas, son.
B-A-N.
It is. It's fucking bananas. So he admitted 3 charges of nighttime theft and snatching, possessing a digital transceiver without permission, and violating the coronavirus curfew.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Gotta add that in there.
Yeah, gotta have that in there.
We should have a video clip or an audio clip.
It was also
of
not
Ashley saying snatching.
snatching. It was not his first offense for similar acts. He said after we arrested the suspect, we also found out that he had already been arrested last year for stealing flip-flops in another district.
Oh my god, he's a serial snatcher.
He's a serial snatcher, y'all. He fully admitted stealing the sandals for lewd purposes, so we will be detained at the station until a court appearance for prosecutors to decide on the next part of the legal process for him. Because I'm sure this is something they don't encounter very often,
Yeah.
so they probably don't know exactly what to do here. They're like, this is weird. What do we do?
Yeah, that's
That's how I feel. Like, well, this is weird. Like, how do you punish somebody? Like, you can't give him shoes. Like, does he just walk around
Yeah.
barefoot then?
I just this baffles my mind with. I mean,
Oh, what
just
kind of shoes do
getting
you- I
shoes
mean-
because he's walking around modeling in them and then he sleeps with them.
And then he like rubs
shit.
them all over his
Yeah.
body.
You know, I think
Yeah.
Does he use
needs,
lotion?
needs like a rehabilitation program.
How's he gonna? What's he do? Stick them to? Does he stick both of them together and rub one out like?
I mean,
foot
that's
fetish
what I'm
type
saying.
thing?
You know,
Like a chick would do with her feet.
I mean, like
Mm.
some
I
of
don't
these
know.
flip flops were like,
Well
just
worn.
no, they were all well worn.
Well
Not
I'm
worn.
some
on
of
a
them.
boat.
Some of them were
They were just big sloppy.
like
flip-flops.
slides, like what they're called now.
It's like
Not
you
like
can
the
have them
flip-flops
back.
I
I
wore.
lubricated them for you.
So like, does he put his dick in like the in that part of it?
Easy slide.
And like in the
They've got extra
I don't know.
shine.
He could
I
tie
don't
him
know.
tight
Extra,
for the
extra
tightness.
shine.
I don't know,
He
man.
can tie him tighter for the
So
tightness.
you can
Yeah.
find this guy working at
So,
the local bowling.
I'm making
alley.
hand gestures.
His
and that's
his
weird.
dream job would be to work at Foot Locker.
Yeah,
He wouldn't know what to do.
I don't know.
Is there any comments?
Old Navy. That buys it
Sarah.
with free flip-flop sale.
Sarah has from the cat story. Chris said meow meow.
That was one for each face.
Sarah said sob man. LOL. Sarah said, did he have a gold chain necklace? LOL. 1970s porn star. LOL. I think that was from the second story.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Sarah said, I mean, puts a whole new meaning to sniffing a pair of thongs. Oh God. So yeah, that's that. That's all there is for that. I read
Sniffing
every
shoes
I read
instead of
every
thongs.
single sentence of each story, and I'm
Crazy.
good with that. That's where I'm gonna end it. That's some
That
good.
was.
All right.
that
thank
was
you.
something.
That was crazy.
That was
was
something, all right.
Crazy something. Something.
Lots of something crazies.
All right, so next topic.
hmm
Here we go.
Oh wow,
Moving
this
along
got
here.
all fucked up.
Uh
You fucked shit up. Why are you
Uh-oh.
fucking
I
shit
didn't
up?
do
oh.
anything.
Uh oh.
Houston, we have a problem.
You fucking
We
shit
should
up.
use the fuck it up simulator, man.
I
And then
know.
you would have been able not to fuck it up, or fuck it up right at least if you're gonna
Fuck
fuck it
it
up. You know?
up.
That's the
Stop
purpose
fucking
of
shit
the fuckulation
Yeah.
simulator.
The
you know?
fuckulation.
Yeah.
Fuckulation?
The fuckulation
Or
simulator.
fucculation? Just say
Fuckulation.
no, like
Simulation.
pause. Just fuckulation or fuckulation.
Fuckulation is basically a hybrid of the fuck you simulator.
I
It's a
got you.
Fuckulation.
I got you.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
That makes sense.
Me either.
Didn't
You
you
guys
see like?
are-
are-
Didn't you see like the SpaceX docking simulator?
That makes sense.
No.
I got you.
No.
No.
You guys didn't like nerd out on the whole spaceship thing taking off last night.
No,
Or the
that's a
other day.
60s thing.
Yeah, that's old people do that, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
This old minute moment was brought to you today by Chris.
Hi, Chris. Hey, Chris.
That's
Hey,
right.
Chris.
I remember watching rockets take off when they would roll a large TV.
You know, speaking of, though,
into the classroom.
me and the wife just binged
Space Force.
Space Force.
Was that
last
good?
night.
Yeah,
Me
that
too.
was pretty good.
With Steve Carell?
Yes.
I did too last night.
I'm
It was so
watching-
good.
It was cool. I liked it.
Anyways, now I
Anyways,
got
that was
this
it.
all. I know. we
That's all I
could
wanted to
start
say.
Talking about that, but no,
We
it was
could
really
talk
funny. If
about
you
it.
guys
It was
want to
very
check it out,
funny.
it's on Netflix.
I hate his kid,
That
though.
that damn chimp man
Oh, I know
couldn't fix it.
that baby eating bitch.
Yeah.
Anyways,
And he ate the dog, man.
I'm so sad.
spoilers.
Oh yeah, my bad if you guys haven't seen
I was
it.
just gonna say I don't like his daughter. I do
Mm.
not like her
Yeah.
Nobody's
decision
gonna watch it
making.
now.
Yeah, I don't
Everybody
either.
knows the dog gets
I
eaten
even
by the
She's not
monkey,
particularly
you know, and-
nice
She's pointless.
space.
child.
Yeah,
She's
she
just
is.
making everything suck.
Yeah. she-
So-
So just tune into
That's
the
all I'll
Haunting of
say.
Hill House.
She's like
instead.
mean to everybody for no reason.
It's like, what do you have to
I
be
like
angry
the-
for?
I
Your
like
your
the,
dad's making bank. Like, shut
yeah,
the
I
fuck
know.
up.
I like the captain though.
Captain,
the-
I was just gonna say the pilot.
the pilot.
Yeah,
that
I was
really
just gonna
cool.
say that.
I like a lot of them. He said, Larry said, "Stop."
Yeah.
Hey, that's
Right.
it. This is Jay's fault. He gave
Yeah.
out spoilers. We were just
Oh,
saying.
well.
He said, "I'm still watching." We're just
Okay.
saying, or I'm
Alright.
just saying my
Well,
opinions
that's
on his daughter.
episode 2. So if you haven't made it past episode
You're not
2,
watching
then
it
Yeah.
you're not
enough.
watching
You're
it.
not
enough.
you're not making an effort.
You know. Anyways, so this YouTuber, just give me a second. She's actually based in Ohio.
Mm-mm-mm.
This YouTuber placed her autistic adopted son from China with a new family after making content with him for years. Now, Micah Stauffer built her YouTube following partly by sharing every step of her journey to adopt a toddler from China. This week, she revealed why he'd gone missing from her videos. So she has hundreds of thousands of followers who shared her and they shared her family's experience of adopting toddler from China. Announced on Tuesday that she and her husband had permanently placed their child with another family after unspecified behavior issues. This announcement has caused a firestorm on social media and within the creator and influencer communities. Many are questioning the ethics of the YouTuber Micah Stauffer after she spent years sharing intimate details of her son Huxley's life on a monetized channel. Even before her family adopted Huxley in 2017, Micah has made his story a key theme on her channel, which has exploded in popularity and landed her several high-profile sponsorships. She also positioned herself as an advocate for international adoption in several national news outlets. These facts, coupled with the long simmering debate about the rights of children on social media, has led to an outcry against the couple and their decision to publicize and monetize their lives. And basically what this boils down to, because I don't want to read this entire article, it's just too much.
It's a lot.
But basically, it was too hard for them. There was things they didn't know when they took on raising an autistic child.
My gosh, you should have did the research.
Now, aside from the autism and sensory issues this child has, he had a stroke in the womb.
Oh.
Okay? Which, yeah, is very sad. But this woman adopted this child, brought her into her family, monetized content on her YouTube channel based on this child, and then basically said, oh, it's too hard. It's too hard.
It's too hard.
Now, I don't know about you, and I don't know about other
I
people.
never hear those words anymore. I'm sorry.
What's that?
It's too hard.
It's
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
you probably don't, Chris. No.
you know.
But
Well, you asked. I mean.
yeah, but this is the thing about it. When you adopt a child, you're basically accepting this child into your family with the notion that you are going to raise this child into adulthood.
I mean, that's what I think.
And I think that there was enough research and they told her enough about the child and his conditions that she should have at that point decided whether or not she should move forward with that, you know? Like,
I mean, yes. Larry said research doesn't prepare you. No, it doesn't. It doesn't prepare you for the full for everything that you're gonna be dealing with.
yeah.
But then if you just, I mean, I wouldn't go out of my way to adopt a child after doing the research and thinking this through. And I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not gonna do that if I don't feel like I could fully, go and do what I need to do for that child. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, she went out of her way to adopt. This isn't just like someone forced this kid on her.
Yeah,
or
she didn't
had
have the
this
baby
child,
and all this.
and this is, your biological child.
But 9 times out of 10,
this
if
is
you have a
something she went out of her
child,
way to do.
but 9 times out of 10, if you have a child and you're a decent person,
In most
it
cases,
doesn't matter
you're
what
gonna
kind
do
of
what you gotta
disability
do, and
or
sometimes it's gonna really suck, and sometimes you're not gonna know what to do, but you're gonna get it done somehow. You're gonna figure out a way.
You're gonna figure out a way to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I do understand. Research. Doesn't always. I mean, yeah, but that's the thing. Like, but she went out of her way. I feel like that's different. It's like you go out of your way. This is the child you wanted. You claimed you wanted this child. You had this child for 2 years.
Made a ton of money off of them.
Yeah.
And that's the part that it's one thing also. You realize it's hard and you find a better home, whatever.
Yeah.
But why monetize this kid? Why go through the trouble of documenting your journey to adopt this kid? Make a ton of money off him, get all these sponsors, become an advocate for adopting kids like this, and then go ahead and be like, nope, it's too hard.
So
change our mind.
Larry said, but you're saying it like she did zero research. You don't know that. Like, what did wasn't it said that she did do research?
Yes.
Yeah, she did. And that's what I'm saying. Like, we're not saying amounts. Oh, all this research should have prepared you for sure 100%. That's not at all what
No,
we're
but
I'm saying anyway.
what we're saying also is, all right, Larry, you have kids. Now, say one of your kids was born with a disability like autism, or one of them did have
I
a
mean, we
stroke in the
know
womb,
people who have kids
Or
with
Larry,
disabilities.
they were born without thumbs and couldn't play video
whatever.
games.
But would that happening change how you felt about your kid and change the fact that like you're gonna do whatever it takes to to raise that child? I mean, I'm sorry, but
I mean, a lot of people feel a lot of different
Seems like
ways
she
about
just
this.
benefited from him.
She did.
that's how I
She
feel
did
about
benefit
it.
Was
from
he
him.
no longer earning? Is that part of it?
What's that?
The child was no longer did that like the money wasn't coming in anymore from
I don't know.
They probably
I mean, they
accomplished
did.
what
I mean,
they
a
needed
while
to.
back, they did change that you can't like have them and you can't get money for children.
So
being
maybe
in
that
videos.
influenced.
He said he just tried calling in, but I didn't
Oh.
get anything via the
Yeah.
stupid fucking thing that's supposed to come through.
I don't know.
So I don't know why.
I'll hold on. Try again, and we will.
I don't know why. I'm telling you, when it's not like up on the screen. If I have the sound effects up, it doesn't show me the call.
All right, try again.
I mean, I don't know 100% everything about. No one knows 100% of the situation other than people involved. Obviously, I'm just saying it's kind of sad. That's what I'm saying. It is. It's just really sad. I'm glad. Whoa.
We got some ringing going on.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on, Larry?
I had to ask Ashley if she knew about the level of research.
No.
So as I was watching, it felt that as you guys were talking about the woman with the adopted kid, the guy felt a little uncomfortable chiming in there. So I wanted to ask Ashley more questions about her thoughts on this. She's saying that the mom should have done her research.
No, if I said something like that, I didn't mean to say it the way I did, because I was actually asking Tommy did she do research or was it said that she did not? That's where I think I was confused there.
Yeah, she did research. They told her everything, the medical history of the child before she got him. Obviously, certain things, because he was so small at the time when they adopted him, some things they found out a little later. You know what I mean? But that's still, you already knew kind of what you were getting into when you adopt a child. I mean, any adoption, whether that child has a condition or not, it's always a struggle because you're adopting.
I feel like so. Wait, what is the problem though? Is the issue that she had the YouTube channel and this is what was found out? Because I would say thousands. I'm not an expert, but I would honestly say the number can't be far off from thousands of kids being adopted and being returned.
You know what I think?
It's bad to use that word, but yes, it happened on a yearly basis. And the ideal is like my questions would be like, what happened with the original, like the maternal parents? I don't know if maybe the mom passed. I don't know.
Yeah, there's no information on the maternal.
What I think it comes down
parents.
to, Larry, is this is just an example of conditional love, is what it is. You know what I mean? And that's a problem in this day and age. I think is that the feelings that she had for the child, she bought a child and lasted as long as they lasted, and when they were done, when her feelings are exhausted, then
she can't.
She's a purchased item. She then does whatever, disposes or recycles.
I mean,
you know?
I am glad.
For the record, I think anybody that just returns or rehomes an adopted child, that's wrong. I'm sorry.
So I mean, the points are valid that you're making, Chris, and the idea is, I think that happens with parents in adoption situations more often than not. But I think that there's still no outcry about when, like, celebrities, for example, who adopt children. It seems that it's a vanity piece versus, like you're saying, that unconditional love.
I agree
and you see it far between. But like now, this woman is getting pegged for being like just a witch or just a monster because she's using what someone is thinking is an excuse to get out of it. Maybe she just could not handle it. And I mean, you have parents now that are actual birth parents that just cannot handle autistic children, and you have to give those children up for adoption. So it just seems weird that this became so sensationalized, but nobody's looking at.
I think the point is, one, all these cases that you're talking about, people rehoming adopted kids, are not in the news and stuff like that. They're not public because these people are living private lives. They're not living it on social media. You know what I mean? They're not making money off of the fact that they created a YouTube channel to basically benefit themselves off of this adoption.
And I don't want to always seem like I'm defending this behavior, but again, the woman had the YouTube channel before she got the kid. Like, her YouTube channel was already about that.
I mean, that's correct, but even in the article, and she didn't get any type of notoriety until she started the journey of adopting this kid. And the thing is, it wasn't even so much this kid. At first, it was just she was going to adopt a kid, and then it came into this Huxley kid, and all the and the thing is, she pulled on people's heartstrings. She got big sponsors based off of who she adopted and why she adopted them, and then just 2 years later, just be like, oh, this is too hard, and still, like, I don't know.
It's sad.
I understand why.
It's very sad.
People would just find that kind of off-putting.
Yeah. I mean, I get those points too. I just feel like some of the questions that are getting asked surrounding all that are maybe the wrong questions.
So what questions do you think we should be asking?
Well, I mean, even of ourselves, why are we so concerned about when somebody profits off of it, when somebody is not necessarily doing it for profit, but doing it for celebrity, or doing it, even if they are doing it for profit? I mean, we don't even care about when those situations happen. We just so happen to want this one. I feel like a lot of that came out of, I don't know, a lot of things that we do as a society comes out of jealousy. Oh, they're getting it and I'm not. So
I don't think that's the case at all.
I just think
because there's plenty of people who have YouTube channels like myself, and our channel doesn't do well, but I don't sit there and be like, Jeffrey Gurian, he is a successful YouTube channel, I'm just going to hate on him with everything. No, I think it's the point of the morality of it, and that she's using this child, which has been something that's been happening in the past few years. YouTube cracking down on parents using their child for personal gain. And it just kind of took another step towards that.
I mean, I'd like to think she had intentions of keeping the child long. I mean,
I get what you're saying.
I hope she knows her intentions,
I didn't like the idea of the questions being raised about whether or not she should have adopted the kid, or even her feelings about that she couldn't handle it. I get the whole fact that I think the hate is on the idea that she had the YouTube channel and profited during this period of time. But again, I still feel that was a moment in time of her life that she still had a channel on that she shared. However it shook out, though, I just think those things happen day to day. They're not that newsworthy to me to be that up in arms about. I think the anger towards this woman is just irrational, because you just don't know about it happening, but it does happen so many times.
Larry, you're vocal. I think you guys are on like different pages, because you're really concerned about her being ostracized for monetizing the situation. And I don't think Epic and Ashley are talking about that. And maybe I'm wrong, but that seems to be your concern, is that she's being, looked down poorly for building, either notoriety or making money off of what she did. And you don't think people should be so quick to judge her on that. Is that what you're saying, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But
But
that's
that's
not
just
what
me.
you're thinking. That's not where you're coming from at all, is it, Epic?
Not necessarily. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily the monetization of it, even though I feel like I honestly feel like at one point maybe I think in the beginning there was good intentions about adopting this child, but I think after she started getting attention, it became more about the business side of it as opposed to actually really caring for this child. And that's where I kind of
Yeah.
that's my feelings on it.
So you're more focused on like the emotional and the support and the parental aspect of this story.
Yeah, not necessarily that she's monetizing.
And I think that's where
but
Ashley was coming from too.
Yeah,
obviously,
just
as a
more of the
mother.
welfare of the kid. And I feel like that putting him in the spotlight like this just to rehome him eventually anyways, that was just...
So is it doubly bad because the kid had this sickness, had autism? Because does that not equate to the same fact that this happens to these kids every day, to where
it's
like
all these kids,
parents are,
and that's why YouTube is putting policies and for people to not do this, because what wasn't there this YouTube channel where they were keeping the kids in cages and stuff like that? They were treating them really badly. This kind of stuff, I just think it raises more awareness to like and I'm not going to say that this kid was abused.
No.
I'm not going to say that because there's no indication. But it's still kind of.
But I'm saying you're vilifying, and that's what I'm talking about. It seems that she's being vilified on that level, as if she hurt this kid.
By monetizing the child, basically, is what you're saying. That's your thing,
right?
I mean,
if that's what you're saying, how she hurt the kid, but it just seems like it's the anger from not just you, but and I'm not saying even that issue, but what I'm seeing in media, from society, is that they're putting on this level as if she did harm the kid.
No, I mean, I get your point of it. I mean, you're thinking no harm, no foul. The kid's not hurt. She made some money.
No blood,
she
the kid
but
is
I think it's more about the principle
go somewhere
and
where
just the fact that this kid I just think that it was unfair for the kid. That's all. Like, I just do.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna put my rump roast in my slow cooker, so I will talk to you guys later. I'm gonna jump back on the video.
All right.
No problem.
Yeah, thanks for chiming in and calling in.
View, man.
We'll see you in a couple weeks. Yep.
All right, we'll do.
All right. Bye.
That was Larry from, what is it? One Life to Play.
Yeah. He'll be on the show in a couple weeks.
Where's that new place at? Is that in Parma?
It is in Parma. Yeah. I don't remember the exact address.
I don't know.
But yeah, Sarah said the only good thing that is coming out of this, the child will go somewhere where the parents are going to put in the effort, time, and love to raise the child, and where the child is not being dismissed. And that it is the good thing coming out of this.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's sad because the child, they kept this child for years. This kid probably does have an attachment to them. And then being rehomed,
basically
that's sad.
From birth,
it's just, it's sad.
And this is another point I want to make before. Now,
moving on.
As someone that has a niece,
yes,
that is autistic,
yes,
change is very bad for autistic kids.
Yeah,
they're very
routine.
Mm-hmm.
Very routine. So when you mess up a routine, it takes them a lot longer to adapt to another situation. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that was another point that I
this kid is
did not make. Two. Like literally, yeah. So like they
this
had
is
him
be
from
a really
birth.
big adjustment.
Yes, it's a very big adjustment. I know he's 2. I know there's still time.
It might not be like lifelong damaging effects, but it's still sad because it's gonna be hard for him for a while.
Yeah.
It's not just like a blip where he's not gonna, because he's like like a 1-month-old baby who will not remember these things happening.
Yeah.
This is something that will affect him.
In the long run, he's gonna be all right, though, right?
In the long run, I would assume that he's gonna go
just hope
with someone that this won't happen again.
But we're gonna take a break.
We're gonna take a break.
We're gonna take a break. Because it's already 1 o'clock.
It's already 1 o'clock.
No wonder why I'm hungry.
I know, right?
Jay went to get pizza.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, he's getting pizza.
Is he? Okay.
I don't think he is.
I told him to bring
He
beer
probably
back.
had to pee or something.
I don't
we've
think
been
he's
down
drinking
here for a
pizza.
while
Bring beer,
now.
but not Bud Light.
We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to talk about Sega preparing
Sega.
to enter the console wars. And just a couple brief things I think with playing with Ballz. I'm not sure. He's kind of trying to talk me out of it, but I already did the graphics for it.
I already did the
I
graphics,
hope
so he's
back
gonna do
with
it.
pizza in time for it.
Yeah. So
I
keep it
don't think he's
locked right
getting
here
pizza.
on
He
the
said
Epic
he's getting
Radio
pizza and
Show.
You're listening to The Epic Radio Show, live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and theepicradioshow.com. Listen to us anytime on the iHeartRadio app. Download today on the App Store or Google Play, and take this show on the road. The Epic Radio Show. Make life epic.
Make life epic.
Hey, Epic fans, this is Jay Val. Home buying is complicated. You need someone who you can trust and has your best interest in mind and not just the size of the commission check. That someone is Jeremy Rodriguez with Russell Real Estate. Jeremy grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, and a graduate from James Ford Rhodes High School in 2001. If you are looking to sell your home, searching for your next home, or if you just want to talk about the process, please feel free to contact him. As an agent who himself still resides in Cleveland, he knows the neighborhood, the schools, and the market inside out. Get in touch with Jeremy. He is happy to help you with all your needs, from helping you identify a lender to getting a moving truck and even helping you pack. Call Jeremy Rodriguez now at 216-287-1766 or email him at jeremysellsdreams@gmail.com. Find him on Facebook now. That number again is 216-287-1766.
To the hell you call
To the
Epic
hell.
Radio Show.
It's the perpetual hell
hello.
that never ends today because we're on our third hour.
Yay!
Third hour. That's epic.
It never ends.
That's fine. You know, it's fine.
Let's just
We had
keep
a
it
lot. We had a lot
We
going
hit the
on.
reset button.
Yeah, Jeff
It never
Gurian, he was great.
ends. It never
Crazy news?
Make sure you join our Discord.
Ooh, they said that.
Yes.
Hey,
Join our
Yeah,
Discord.
do
Ashley.
that. Go what?
Ashley, you ever notice how he says it? The
What?
word Discord?
Discord?
Pay attention to it. He says it all like he changes the way he says it all sexy and everything. But watch him when he does it. Just listen for it. You'll see what
Okay.
I mean.
Join our Discord.
So here's what we're picking up here. Chris thinks you're sexy.
He's got this little sexy
right,
voice
that's
thing.
right.
When he says,
Join our Discord.
See, there we go.
You'll enjoy me rubbing my nipples
Fuck
all
is
over
wrong?
the screen.
All over the screen. Ew.
I sanitize it first. I practice social distancing with my nipples. I even make sure they're 6 feet apart.
I hope so. Shit. I hope you're practicing social distancing with your nipples with anybody. God.
Oh man.
Hey, Monica.
Are there machetes
Hey,
and
Monica.
broomsticks involved?
I don't. Maybe there might be a broomstick involved somewhere.
Monica Miles is in the house.
Is
Yeah.
it wood or is it plastic?
So
Does it have that little knob on
Or
there?
is it a little
the
knob?
next little thing, and hopefully Larry's still listening. It's looking like Sega
Sega.
is going to toss their little hand in
Hey.
the console
That
war
little
coming up.
Sonic paw, huh?
Now this hasn't been completely confirmed.
It hasn't been completely
It's
confirmed.
rumored.
It's rumored,
Doo-doo-doo.
but it's looking like Sega's working on a brand new console to be released in the next couple years.
Oh.
They're if they do this, they'll be joining Nintendo, PlayStation, well Sony, and Microsoft
Sony.
in the in the basically the gaming arms race.
It's an arms
And
race.
and I'm
Oh,
I'll
it's
tell you
funny. I
what,
don't know why
man,
it's funny.
I'm excited but kind of worried about this. And the reason why
You're
is
worried.
obviously Sega had a great track record in the 90s with their 16-bit and 32-bit system. But when they had the Dreamcast, and I loved the Dreamcast. It was a great system, had great games. just people didn't buy the fucking thing. You know, it was just one of them things. You know, but ever since then, you know, the Dreamcast kind of you know, it kind of killed the company. You know, they end up becoming a software company. They didn't do hardware anymore, and they've been making games for different systems throughout the years. But recently, there's been a rumor, especially since it's coming back to the 60th anniversary for Sega.
60?
Yes.
As in 60?
Yes.
Sega?
I know. Yeah.
Sega.
They've been around for 60 years.
They
It's a
created
long
Godzilla.
time.
then,
Yeah.
apparently.
It's a long time, yo.
But Dreamcast ended in 1998. That's when they discontinued use.
Sad.
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 But basically, there's this Japanese journalist, Zenji Nishikawa.
Good job.
Yes.
I feel like that was really well done, so I'm gonna applaud you.
That was so good. I thought Epic was
He's claiming
Chinese
to have
for
a
minute.
huge scoop on Sega in a recent live stream. That is, it should be shared in the June 4th issue of Famitsu, which is a very popular video game magazine in Japan. Considering June 3rd is Sega's 60th anniversary, there's reason to think the company is re-entering the hardware game. And according to some, that would be a terrible idea. Nishikawa notes his scoop about a Dreamcast 2. But who's to say Sega won't release a brand new console for its big anniversary? After all, the group has released many versions of its old hardware over the years. I don't know if you've noticed that they've had like the Dreamcast, or not the Dreamcast, but the little Sega consoles
Genesis,
that have like
built-ins.
preloaded games and stuff like that. Yep.
Find them at the dollar stores. Kind of thing. Yep.
But them were more. Well, yeah, I guess they were, but yeah, that's fine. I almost was going to argue that point.
Dollar
yeah,
store.
but yeah.
At the Family Dollar
They did
store,
do that.
not the dollar store.
Yeah. Also, earlier
The
this year,
discount drug
Sega revealed a new character related to its brand. Now, what's funny about this character's name is Sega Shiro. Yeah. But what's notable about this is he's the son of Hiroshi
You got it.
Fujioka.
There you go.
Who portrayed
Look at you.
the Sagata Senshiro character used to promote the Sega Saturn in the mid-90s.
I'm gonna butcher that.
Why follow up a marketable character if you're not following up on a product he was meant for? So it's almost as if Sega's gearing up for a big advertising push.
Boom! Bitch.
But the competition is too heavy. The thing is, a new console would mean competing against hardware giants, Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony. We're already waiting on the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 price points. Who wants to save for another console?
There are people out here who might want to.
Plus,
Who really
the world
enjoyed
is
it.
already in a financial struggle due to the pandemic. Is
The
now
Corona.
really the time to reveal an expensive new box.
But fuck it, let's do it anyway. I'm excited.
But Sega wouldn't be the only retro company looking to make a comeback either. Of all the groups, Atari is working on a PC console hybrid device dubbed the Atari VCS. That's even more competition.
Dang.
We'll know for sure next week, but Sega should absolutely be wary. The world can only afford so many consoles. So that's my little buzz for Sega.
That's that.
I don't know where Jay is.
Jay
Anybody?
maybe he did go to get pizza because
Yeah, it's usually 15 or 20 minutes for pizza. So,
Yeah, seriously, where did he go?
he
said he didn't want to do playing with balls. I think he went to get pizza. I said, bring back beer.
Is that really what he said?
I don't believe that.
Epic, how long have we been doing this together, man?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, but he's still not here.
So I guess
You
are
want
we
me to-
skipping it then? Because if
You
he's
want me
not
to let
down
the
here,
cat out of the bag?
I
I mean, we
guess
can just
so.
talk about it.
we can talk. What was he going to talk about? I can bullshit
You know
this
what?
all
God
day.
damn it!
I
I'm
can
gonna do Playing
bullshit
with
this all
Balls.
day. We can do playing with balls.
This
Oh wait, is that
playing-
him?
No, that's a small.
Oh, wait.
small child.
I think he's coming.
No,
back.
that's not a child.
No, that's a pet.
Are you ready to
We
do
don't have
playing with
pets.
balls?
Oh look, he's in the proper uniform to boot. Look at that, he's uniformed up. He's
Yeah.
suited up. He's ready to go.
All right. Ready?
Okay, wait, I
Yep.
could do it.
Okay.
Do this
So, let's do the intro. This will be real quick.
real quick.
Everybody,
Yeah.
what's up? So, we're playing with balls today. I only got a couple things.
Couple little things.
Nothing's really moving forward yet in the sports world, as we all know. But hopefully, everything will get kickstarted here in the next
Probably in a
few
couple
months.
weeks, yeah.
All right. So the main thing is with Colin Kaepernick. I wanted to address just with Colin Kaepernick. Here's a question. They're pushing him, Epic, to get put on a team again. Which
Yeah.
I mean, the guy hasn't played in how many years? I mean, my main thing with the whole Kaepernick thing is, my opinion is the dude was released, and they want to keep saying that it's because of the protest stuff that he started in the NFL is why he's not getting signed. But I have a different opinion, and you guys can comment and tell me your opinion on this.
What's your
My opinion is the dude just sucks. I mean, seriously though, man. I mean, he had that one. First of all, the year that he took the 49ers to the Super Bowl, I will grant it, this is the reason why. Alex Smith, first of all, the whole season was lights out that year, and he was injured. Harbaugh had a choice to go back with the original quarterback Alex Smith, or go with Colin Kaepernick in the playoffs. Now, if you guys remember, Colin Kaepernick, when he made that run to the Super Bowl, is when that read option stuff really started taking off in the NFL. That's why he had so much success. Now, I will say, he did tear up, I do believe it was Green Bay, man. He torched them. I remember the one game in the playoffs. So he was doing good in the playoffs. Almost got a Super Bowl win too. It was like a pass off that was deflected and intercepted at the end of the game, the Super Bowl.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And or no, not I don't know if I'm sorry. That was another time. I'm sorry. The Super Bowl was the lights out game.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's what it was.
I was thinking of the Seattle. The
Yep,
conference
that's
game.
exactly what I was thinking.
Okay,
of
but
too.
anyways, my thing is, defenses started adapting to that way of play for the offense. So that's what happened with Colin Kaepernick. Because if you see, I remember the one year before all that stuff happened, Colin Kaepernick was playing, but he was garbage, man. And 49ers even gave him a shot to come back in and be the starter.
Yeah.
As I recall, and he just was not that good, man. He's not that good of a quarterback.
Well, and to kind of reiterate your point, he's been going to training camps almost this whole time.
Yeah.
They've not stopped him from
doing nothing. And these guys keep saying, "Oh, well, the protest stuff." And
I will say that maybe originally that was part of it. When they released him, I would say that was probably.
But here's the thing. Another guy that did the protest stuff with Kaepernick, Eric Reed.
Yeah,
he's being signed to other teams. So there's no excuse for, why Kaepernick's not going to be signed. But
I have no opinion on this.
The thing is, my opinion is, I just think he's not that good of a football player. Granted, he did kneel for a right cause. I mean, I'm not gonna go against anything he's done as a person, but as far as being on the NFL field, I just don't think Kaepernick is that good of a football player. That's it. I just think the teams aren't interested in him because he's not that good. He's just not that good.
Okay.
Next up, real quick, and like I said, there's not much sports news. I just seen a story on another guy trying to push Colin Kaepernick onto a team. Now, I do have a story though from Cleveland, and maybe Larry or you guys have some comments on this. Now, the Cleveland Browns are trying to get one of the defensive studs in this free agency class, Jadeveon Clowney. Now, there have been what's it called?
Rumors?
Yeah, rumors that you guys got some tissue or something? I
Yes.
gotta blow my nose.
I got you.
Anyways, there have been no, there have been rumors that it's all right. I'll wait.
Yeah.
There have been rumors.
Pretty under there.
Yeah, there have been rumors that he said no to the Cleveland Browns, but that's not
Said
true. It's coming out that they've said no. Jadeveon Clowney has turned the Browns down. That he doesn't want to come to Cleveland, but that, from my understanding, is it may be a money situation. He wants to be really like paid in the 17 million area, and I have heard that the Cleveland Browns are in the running for making him one of the highest paid or trying to reach that mark, that 17 million mark. But the thing is, I do believe he didn't say no to the Browns because of the city or anything like that, or because it's the Cleveland Browns. Because if you think about it, with Jadeveon Clowney, he would be very smart to pair himself up next to Myles Garrett. I mean, them two guys will definitely dominate and eat, man. So, if I was Jadeveon Clowney, I would roll with the Browns because he could have a big payday, man. If he takes a 1-year contract with us, and then it's a prove-it season and goes on and just has a beastie season, I believe he can just be poised to be awesome. But I don't know if you guys want to weigh in on that. And one other thing with the Cleveland Browns is Baker Mayfield has actually came out and said that this year's a put-up or shut-up year. So basically he's going to be just prove it. Yeah, prove it year.
Yeah. He's know, one thing, too, I want to add to that.
Go ahead.
So Baker said something that I really agree with, and he said he's gonna be louder on the field than off the field.
Yeah, that's what he said.
He's basically he's gonna shut his mouth.
Yeah,
and
shut his mouth.
Well, yeah, because that was one of the big things. Like he's just talking a lot of smack and
he just put up.
Yeah,
what he needs to do.
Yeah, pretty much. That's it for sports, though, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, guys. I'll try to get some more next week, but
that's it.
I mean, there's not much going on.
Well,
in sports.
if you guys have anything
send it
you
in.
can always email Jay at jval@theepicradioshow Show or playing with balls with the Z at theepicradioshow.com. You can email him anytime. And we will get that message to him. All right.
Yeah, definitely.
But thank you, Jay, for your segment. Thank you, Chris, for scooching in.
Thanks,
Jay,
Chris, for all the things
nice
you bring to the show.
I didn't really have much. I mean, I always have Cleveland Browns news, no matter if it's one or whatever. But like with the NFL, now I do have something with the NBA real quick. They're trying to do a startup date. Is it July? Oh, okay.
I don't remember.
In July they're trying to do something, but I do know Cleveland Browns are opening their facilities June 1st. So for practicing, starting practice. So they're already late on they're already late on all the OTAs and stuff like that.
Yep.
So, but hopefully we can catch up and do all that stuff. But
just as shitty as we are always.
I think this year a lot of people are pegging us to. They're saying hold the brakes on the hyping us up because that's what happened last year. We got all that hype, but then we didn't have. You know, we didn't back it up.
Yeah.
But this year, they're saying we can at least, they see the Browns, foreseeing the Browns at least trying to squeeze into a wild card spot, especially if they go with that new playoff format.
I would be happy with a wild card spot.
Yeah, me too. I'd be happy.
Would be thrilled with
I mean,
spot.
last year they're all like Super Bowl, and it's kind of, it's kind of like, let's just
make it to the postseason.
Yeah, realistic goals.
Right.
Realistic
Before
goals.
You go to Super Bowl, you gotta go to postseason, you know?
Yeah, you
realistic.
gotta
Speaking of that too, we did that win-loss thing, and I swear to God,
Chris, you were supposed. Did you go online and do that yet, Chris?
No, and you know what?
really
I lost the original one, so we're gonna have to. No, it's fine because I can just go back to that episode and then rewrite it.
Oh, okay.
It's not a big deal, you know, because we did it all on the air.
because I'm like, man, I'll probably end up picking the same teams as I go through.
Won't.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that again.
Schedule?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
also
just
the Brown schedule.
and
Easy.
Yeah.
Boop.
Yeah. So, all right, but we're gonna get off here.
Hey, did you guys
Thank
see
you
where they're
guys.
burning cars in Cleveland, man? That's
Are
crazy.
they? Oh,
They're burning
man.
cars. in
Are they?
Cleveland. Yeah, they burned a clown car yesterday, man, and there was 15
Oh,
casualties.
he's making.
Oh
That's
my
It
terrible.
god.
was terrible. It was.
That
I
is
was gonna
terrible.
say
Jesus.
all these riots and stuff. I see Cleveland. I will say one thing. We usually come together through all this crap that's been going on. Last time I seen a lot. I mean, there was some kind of like negative stuff that happened in Cleveland, but not as much as other places. I will say that Cleveland's kept it kind of classy the last time that stuff
You
happened.
know what I thought
That's what
was
he
cool,
does.
and I don't know if most of you have watched this on the news, but even the riots are practicing social distancing because even when they're burning the cars, they're at least 6 feet
Six feet away,
apart
yeah.
from each other when they're doing it.
Jeez.
That's
It's your
hilarious.
husband, Ashley.
I know.
You know?
I know.
All
Are you
right.
starting to feel anything what I was talking about earlier?
Mixed
Anyways,
feelings here.
next week on the show we're gonna have Al
Mother's Ball.
Mother's Ball. Yeah.
He's cousins to the famous Mother's Ball from Devo, Akron family and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was he again? I'm a comedian.
He is what I would dub a Renaissance man. He is in a band called Massive Hot Dog Recall, which is an incredible band. Right. Do some due diligence. Look into
I will.
Massive Hot Dog Recall. He's an
Look into that.
improver. He has tried
Massive hot dog.
comedy. He has probably been in some independent films. His son and daughter are actors and actresses in California and
Oh.
have been on numerous things that you've probably watched on television.
Okay.
But he is just one of those families of the area who is very prominent. He has a family name that's very strong and recognized in Northeast Ohio. And
snap.
can talk about just about anything. I'll tell you, folks, if you come back and we can get this guy on the air, because this guy's a tough one to nail down, it's going to be every bit as good an interview as what we had today.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Chris. Thank you guys for joining us
For this 3-hour show.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Make sure you follow us on social media: Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram.
Instagram.
Become a patron
Do
on
it.
Patreon.
Do it.
Patreon.com/The Epic Radio Show.
Do it.
Donate just $5 a month, and you will get access to another podcast called Beyond Epic, where Connor hosts and he goes over things we talked about on the show, and also he gets to interview some of the guests that
we had on
we've
the show.
had on the show.
Even deeper.
Even deeper.
Deeper.
Dark.
But yeah, thank you
Let's all
guys.
just whisper deeper.
Like I said, the time is coming soon where we're not going to be live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So please follow our Discord. Join our
Did you see it,
Discord.
Ashley, when he said that? Did you see it?
Yes.
Join our Discord.
I'm watching him on the my
Um,
little video.
and
here.
and
Is it doing
and,
it for
and
you,
check out
Ashley?
our website, theepicradioshow.com. It's great. There's a lot of
nipple
things there, a
stinger's
lot
better.
of content, and also the merch. So
the merch.
on that note, anybody
Go
else
look
have
at it.
anything?
Hey, Barmacy, Sundays nights, 8 o'clock live comedy.
Live.
Yeah, live, no Zoom, 8 o'clock in Akron.
Okay.
Okay, Funny Noises Productions. Check it out.
Ashley?
Nothing.
Nothing? Jay?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'll take their minutes.
All right, on that note, thank you guys
don't
so
do
much for joining
things.
us. See
I
you
hate
next week,
people.
and as always,
That
make
was
life
great.
epic.
Dear Mr. President, there are too many steaks nowadays. Please eliminate 3. I am not a crackpot.
Oh, wow, that was terrible.
Hasta la vista, baby.
That's my only real motivation, is not to be hassled. That and the fear of losing my job, but you know, Bob, that'll only make someone work just hard enough not to get fired.
And I'm sorry, we're out of time. Bye.
You are the weakest link.
Please leave this office.
Do we get any sort of souvenir?
Get out of my office!
Oh my God, it feels so good. Oh yeah. Oh, slow down. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Who's your daddy?
That's all, folks.